Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Spawncast episode 387. We got almost everyone here, actually. We're just missing MVG, ironically. He's the one who says I need to start off a bit more cheery, more energy. Sean, how you doing?
Oh,
wow.
I just kicked your ass. Help me up, Steve Weiser.
It's good that his internet or whatever just fucked up in that moment.
Even working.
We got it like spliced.
Completely almost completely ruined. I mean, but I'll say this: at least you actually are promoting a good wrestler for once. You're always doing that Hogan bullshit. Now you actually have somebody that's legitimately good at wrestling. You know, so that's good. It's a positive.
I don't know. Stone Cold in his heyday, he had neck surgeries.
Go back and watch Hogan's matches. They're terrible. He's like the worst wrestler.
You gotta watch the Japanese one, son.
Hogan's like the worst wrestler. He's slow. He seems like he's been old for forever. He's slow. He's old. He has no movement. He is terrible. I'm so happy Shawn Michaels super kicked his ass that one time. I replay that every day.
Do you watch the match though, son? HBK.
He was really good. He was good against Rocky.
Sweet chin music. Just a sexy boy.
He was good against Rocky. I don't know. Sean, is this promoting your book?
This is my Halloween costume for tomorrow because my uncle's
what?
Halloween costume.
Your book hit profit. You couldn't even splurge for a cap that we can't see your hair through. Jesus.
It was all in one. It was all in one.
I like it. I think that adds to the costume. I like it.
Like looking into a crystal ball for you, isn't it, John?
You're gonna like wear this out.
Yeah.
He's probably not going to take it off today. He's just going to wear it until Halloween.
You should wear it in all of your videos.
Did you? Hey, it's a good costume, Sean. There you go. Are you gonna try to stun somebody while you're there?
I'm gonna whip some ass. What?
Before he went on, Sean was like, "Oh, my camera's messed up. I got to figure it out." That was a good turn. Okay, good.
So good. It's so good, Sean. I like it.
Let's see. We have Josie's here with us today as well.
Yep, happy to be back.
You've been playing Mario Party Jamboree, right?
Yeah, a bit.
All right, good. You'll give us some quick initial impressions.
Absolutely.
All right, good stuff. We got Celia with us again.
Hey, thanks for having me.
How'd your metaphor party go?
Oh, it's going great. I have friends coming over at 7, and so we're gonna play more metaphor. So
We were wondering how it would continue on with that game. Like we were
curious.
Did they do it once? That's it.
Oh no, it's ongoing. Like I'll play in between regardless, but like it's a reason to hang out with friends, and it's like a little event out of it.
Sure, okay, it's fun. We got Evan, of course. Evan with us.
Yeah.
Did you play more Silent Hill?
A little bit more, and then Space Marine got its new mission, so I beat that. That was good.
There it is. Good stuff. Ryan, of course, with us as well. Good to have Ryan on.
Hello, happy to be back.
And OJ's back with us.
Yeah. I finally have this Friday kind of off from some of my other stuff, so I was able to come through. Thanks for having me.
You streaming today, technically Saturday as well?
Yeah. I'm thinking like what day? Yeah, I'm going to stream today and tomorrow, but today. So yeah, absolutely.
Saturday in the future, not
Yeah.
future. Yes. Good stuff. Yeah. Good to have everyone here though. We have actually, I wrote down a bunch of stuff actually for this week, which include that partner preview show that happened, that Nintendo Playtest. Still nothing on that. I wanted to actually ask MVG about it. He's not here, so Sean's gonna have to go find him. Apparently now stun him. So at least you're in the outfit for it. I got the God of War TV show getting rebooted. That Analog 3D. And actually a lot of mailbag questions and some comments as well from last week. So a lot to get to here. Of course, you can check that mailbag out over on the Spawncast network, spawncast.com/ or patreon.com/spawncast. You can drop a question in there and we'll answer it here. So I picked out actually most of them, I think, here. So a lot to go over. I did want to start with Josie. We'll go to you on this because we just mentioned Mario Party. You played it. I saw you're streaming today. People should check out your channel. You're streaming it. You're checking out a lot of these games day one, like as soon as they drop. So what'd you think of it? What'd you think of it so far?
I think it's pretty fun. It's very similar to like Super Mario Party, like all the good parts of it, I would say. So like if you missed any of the motion mini games, they're all back. It's like the buddy systems are back, but it's just really improved. So it's basically like a much better version of what Super Mario Party initially tried to be. if you like Mario Party, I think it's great. It has a single player campaign. It has crazy online. It has just a lot of features that Mario has been missing and people have been asking for. So it's cool. And the boards are super fun. Like I've messed around in 2 of them at this point, and all the ones I've played I've really enjoyed. There just seems to be a lot of variety here, which I'm excited about, and they just have a bunch of modes, which I think is what most people want with it.
You were playing online. How many people were you playing with? Did you do like the big battle royale thing?
No, I didn't do that yet. I'm going to. I just played with like another creator, Twitch streamer guy, but
he didn't know who I was.
That's true. He was like, "Who's RGT?" Because RGT was in my chat. But
asking where's Shenmue.
You gotta be humbled once in a while, you know. Yeah, Roll'em Raceway I think is my favorite one I've played so far. I also played this mall one, which was really interesting. They just have a lot of different gimmicks within every map, which is really fun. And there's like they sort of reinvented shops and how shops work. And it's like a bigger focus on items and things like that. The games are also a lot longer, I've noticed, just because there's so much to do, like on the boards themselves, which is cool.
Yeah, that's the only thing is sometimes I'll look at Mario Party and I'm like, do I really want to get into this now? Because I feel like this is going to be like a couple hours.
Yeah, it's a solid like 90-minute commitment, you know. But some of like your favorite stuff is like this is back. Some of like iconic Mario Party stuff is back.
I like Mario Party too.
A good bit of new stuff.
Good stuff. Yeah, I mean, to me, it came out Thursday, and I was looking at it, and I was like, yeah, it looks like Mario Party. I feel like as I get towards the end of the generation, we've typically gone through a number of Mario Party releases, and it's just kind of like for me, it's Mario Party fatigue. It's like, okay. I mean, I feel like the first one of the generation I'm excited for, like Super Mario Party was really cool, but now that we've had so many, I'm like, yeah, I'll get it at some point, I guess. But at least it's good to hear it's quality.
It's great. I mean, if you like Mario Party and if you want to pick up another one, like I would definitely go for it. But if you already have it, like it's still Mario Party, you know, it doesn't really reinvent the wheel, but it's great. I played a bunch of the rhythm mini games as well, messed around there, and they were super fun. It's just a good time.
Do you collect coins, unlock anything with them? Like, because
you can buy the little emote things, or like, you know, the things at the bottom where you're like talking to people and you're like, yeah, or sorry, or no. I don't. There's like this list of them.
Emote things, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. You can buy more of those.
Communication, thank you.
Yeah, you can buy.
Are any of them really mean? Like, you just taunt them completely?
No, there's some like weird looking ones though. There's a lot of like iffy guys in there, so it's kind of funny, and it's great with a group of people.
Yeah, I mean, you have to try out the 20-person thing and let us know how that goes for you.
Yeah, I will.
Sounds ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Right, yeah. Good stuff. Evan, I did ask you about Silent Hill 2 a bit. Because we were both I'm still kind of playing through it here and there, but I'm like between 4 different games right now. But I'm further into it now. But we did get news that it sold 1 million copies in less than a week, like total. That's pretty quick. Silent Hill 2 took a little more than a month to sell 1 million copies, and the entire franchise, I looked it up just because I was curious about context. The entire franchise sold 9 million copies. This one already selling 1 million in roughly 4 or 5 days, because it did have like that early access period as well. And that, I mean, to me, that's great. I am curious now because Konami would look at this. Do you guys want Bloober Team to try some of the other Silent Hill games as well? Like, do you think they earn that trust from Konami to do, okay, let's do Silent Hill 3, let's do Silent Hill 1?
I mean, they could, but like, this is just remakes, remasters. I don't really care. I was on the fence even about getting 2, because I mean, I played the hell out of it back in the day, but I mean, they could get on it, or they could do other, stuff. I mean, they're doing Chronos, so we'll see how that goes.
Silent Hill 1 I feel like that needs the remake. I feel like more than anything right now, if they're going to try that feels like that would be tough. There's a shot to ruin
Shattered Memories.
No, such a bad one. No, well, I mean, if they're going to do 1, they might as well do 1 and 3, since the stories are intertwined. It would be a good like combination remaster.
Okay. Yeah, I picture that Silent Hill 1 going to the remake, similar to how we got like Resident Evil 2 to where we got the Resident Evil 2 remake. That was such a massive jump. Although this was pretty big too. So I'm all aboard at this point of Bloober Team. I can't believe how like the job they did with Silent Hill 2. It is a really good game. So I mean, we'll see with their next game, like you mentioned, Evan. But I thought it was good to point out that Silent Hill 2 did get that win in terms of sales. I think it'll end up being probably the best selling game in the franchise at this point. Like if it's already sold 1 million copies and it's going through a holiday here in a couple months, we'll probably hear like 3 or 4 million before it's all done from it. I feel like
horror can be a little niche, which is why when they lean it more towards action with Resident Evil, it sells better. But like this is just straight horror. Like that's what you're dealing with.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Resident Evil go to like a whole other level now with these remakes. So maybe Silent Hill 2 will kind of catch on there and do the same thing. We'll see. I also had down here. This is a question that I wanted to pose here. As Sean Layden did have an entire discussion. He touched on a number of different topics, but one in particular had to do with the AA game category. And it's so weird to even try to comment on these single A, double A, triple A indie games anymore. I like Celia, for example. When you look at double A, triple A, are you able to really discern which one's which at this point?
I guess kind of, because like I don't know, triple A is just there's like hundreds, thousands of people working on it. The budgets are in the millions, multi-millions. I don't know. It's kind of hard, but with double A, I tend to think of it in a zone where it has like 50 to like 100 people.
Closer to
passion
passion
projects.
projects.
Yeah. Publisher. In comparison to a passion project, it has like a huge publisher's backing. So there is more like monetary, like even marketing support with it. But with the line of things, seeing how huge indie is getting in general, the lines are blurred. It's a weird zone.
He the interesting thing about Sean Layden, and this made the rounds. He kind of mentioned he said today the entry cost for making a AAA game is in the triple digit millions now. I think naturally risk tolerance drops, and you're looking at sequels, you're looking at copycats, because the finance guys who draw the line say, well, if Fortnite made this much money in this amount of time, my Fortnite knockoff can make this in that amount of time. We're seeing a collapse of creativity in games today with studio consolidation and high cost of production. He said quite a bit of stuff here that got people kind of really, I guess, looking at the current landscape of games. And Sean, you've made a number of videos and I feel like you've said this before.
Yeah, and lots of people have said this before. Like, I don't need an PlayStation executive who was taken out of the building kicking and screaming by security to like verify what anyone with 2 eyes and a brain that's followed this industry for any amount of time, like of course it is. You see it. You just look at the products that are out there. Like, I don't know. It's like Reggie talking about stuff. I thought you left. I don't need you to show up at the Game Awards, Reggie. Thanks, but no.
He works at like Tencent now, so he's still technically in gaming, but he's not Sony.
So is Sean, right? Sean, he's still in.
Sean Layden, yeah, he works at Tencent.
Yeah, he's still. So I mean, people are asking him, and
Chinese money.
Well, I'm pretty sure people want to know what Reggie and what Sean have to say. So I don't have a problem with them giving their opinion on.
I don't have a problem with them giving them opinion, but I think it's weird when people act like it's some epiphany.
It's like the curtain's been revealed. Cash corrupts creativity. Are you surprised? No, not at all.
Yeah, I'm just. It's just cool to hear, their thought. I mean, we have a million videos on YouTube that all say the same thing. So, and like that's fine. People take it from different angles. So I mean, I get what you guys are saying, but it's just it's cool to hear what they have to say. Their own take on it. Just like it'd be cool to hear us talk about the same whatever game from different angles as well. But I see what you guys are saying though. Like, yeah, we've heard it. I mean, we know, but I mean, it kind of is though, right, Sean? I mean, you talked about it on your channel. That's kind of like what's going on. The only thing that I would say is that a lot of us, I don't know about you, I'm just saying, a lot of y'all be supporting the same stuff that you guys say is the problems. You know what I'm saying? So the yearly Call of Duties, all the microtransactions and the stuff like that. I mean, these are the things that have led to it. Some people be engaging in a lot of those activities, yet saying it's a big problem. So
yeah, but we don't buy it. We don't buy Call of Duty. They send us a code every year, and now you don't even have to buy it because it's gonna be on free Game Pass.
And you're marketing it free, and telling other people to check it out.
Where are the videos? The videos for it on the channel. Where's any of that?
Bro, y'all always playing Call of Duty stuff.
We're playing it, but we're not. It's not uploading videos and stuff on it.
Oh, the industry is terrible. It's terrible in terms of what's going on, all this stuff. By the way, I'm engaging in, I'm playing, and I'm having fun. But
I definitely.
You have a Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack account. Like that's not a good thing either. But it is what it is.
I played WWE also. There's like a lot of DLC in it. I didn't play Fortnite.
I fell off on it because they made all the creator wrestlers bald like Stone Cold.
When's Sean gonna?
I thought you were gonna say something else. Sorry.
Look, I'm not the one who's saying that the industry is so whatever. I haven't made any videos about that. I mean, there's some problems here and there, but if you look at a lot, not just what Western developers are doing, but if you look at the Japanese developers, look at Astrobot, look at all the stuff that we've gotten this year. Look at Metaphor.
Bandai Namco. Everything's good over there.
Sparking Zero, 3 million units. Sparking Zero. So I mean, yeah, they're gonna have some failures. Yeah, okay, you're gonna have nowhere near as much as all the Western companies, but Microsoft, look at all the layoffs they've had. So I mean, listen, there's gonna be some problems. I get it, but it's not all terrible. Like there's been so many banger good Japanese games this year, and I think sometimes people just kind of get tunnel vision and look at the Western market. Japanese market has been pretty good, overall. And yeah, Bandai Namco has some layoffs, but most of the Japanese companies have not laid off. I mean, they have laws. But it's not been anywhere near as bad. Because
I don't think they're actually laid off. I think they just have to go into a room with
the expulsion rooms. Yeah, they have these expulsion rooms. I'm not sure how many companies are doing that. Usually when a company does that, we hear about it. Bandai Namco is like the first this year, but I'm pretty sure it's happened here or there. But a lot of the companies have actually been hiring more from Soft, and a lot of these companies have been hiring more and have actually increased salaries this year. So there's been a lot of increases and more hires across the Japanese gaming industry just in general. So I do feel that, yes, it's bad with some of the stuff. And don't get me wrong, it's definitely bad, but it's not all oh my gosh, terrible, across the board. As like I said, especially if you're supporting the Japanese games this year.
That's even if you go back to the video game crash in the early 80s, that's the same thing. It wasn't a worldwide crash. Europe was fine. Japan was fine. It was all in the West. And that was kind of given the moniker of a complete crash because you didn't have any companies. Video games had a negative stigma on it. So, there are some parallels into it. It's not necessarily because obviously Nintendo, poops in a box and everyone goes out and buys it and it's the greatest thing ever. They have a I
did buy the alarm clock. Go on.
Say,
oh my God.
That's wild.
Real problem here, sir. But I think, yes, people are talking about it as a more Western thing because that's where it's primarily happening, which is kind of similar to how it happened, back in the day. I don't think, the term video game is going to have a negative stigma attached to it, but, it's a different type of industry problems that you haven't really seen before.
To be fair, I did make a video on it, though, taking it apart.
It doesn't that makes you worse.
I mean, I wonder how much did everybody want to Switch sell? I mean, I don't think we ever got sales numbers for that. I think it sold pretty bad.
They probably swept that thing under the rug and moved on.
I mean, the fact that it existed, though, is...
On the topic of creativity, though, I was looking at that. I saw the quotes and stuff, and wouldn't you know it, this game called, I think it's Project Ethos, popped up on the timeline, and it was a big 2K announcement. And I saw even Jeff Keighley tweeted about it and stuff. And I looked at it and I said, have you guys seen what this thing looks like?
Yeah, it's hot garbage.
It's a free-to-play third-person roguelike hero shooter in development. And if you take a look at it, it looks exactly like the Fortnite formula. It is crazy how close it looks to it.
Did these people never listen to TLC? Don't go chasing waterfalls.
Wait, what is it called?
Stick to the rivers
Project
and the lakes
Ethos,
that you're used to.
ETHOS. Just honestly, just type that in, look at a screenshot, and you'll see, Josie. You're very familiar with Fortnite?
I'm a big fan.
Yeah, take a look.
Oh, that is wild.
No,
yeah. I saw it pop up. I said, well, so much for that game. People are already like, yeah, I give it 6 months. Like, well, I mean, it looks like Fortnite. It's a hero shooter that people don't. And I'll see. We'll see. So,
did you guys see what NBA 2K did as well?
Yeah, dude, I was.
I saw your post.
Disgusted.
What did they do?
Disgusted.
Oh, they're making I don't know, it's something between Fortnite and Slam Ball, like basketball, Fortnite, and Slam Ball all kind of put together.
Really?
Yeah.
Weird. Is it like a free-to-play thing, or is this part of the game?
It's inside the game.
Part of the game, part of
instead of focusing on advancing the actual game of basketball like you used to do when you had competition and you had other companies making NBA games. Now you don't have to. You're sitting on top of your throne. If you want to play basketball, you gotta buy that, and then that's what you get. It's
you buy this game,
ridiculous.
Sean. You play 20% of it max.
I
because
do.
everything else is like stuff you don't care about.
It's disgusting. I don't give a fuck about my player, my career, my bullshit. All it is my factions in WWE. I don't want to play cards in my wrestling game. You know, if you want to play cards in a wrestling game, you buy SmackDown versus Raw 2010 on the Nintendo DS that had a card system.
Wow.
Yes, I
twist.
played it. Yeah, I played it recently. But yeah, like it's just they're overinflating the games with microtransaction things and not focusing on the actual games themselves. And that's that's another Western developer problem.
Ryan, did you this is Sean Layden. Obviously you're familiar with him. You've heard of him.
Yeah.
What do you think about any of the comments? I'm sure you looked at that interview because it was going around quite a bit. Is there anything that stood out to you about that?
He's always been pretty outspoken about this stuff. Generally, I agree with him. You know what I keep coming back to, and it's something that Celia was getting at, which is this blurred line between A, AA, and AAA. I always start to circle back around to the idea that it's so blurred to the point where I feel like the low point is already sort of gone with like where AA disappeared, so to speak, which would have been, I don't know, maybe like around maybe late life cycle PS3 360, and then for a good portion of PS4 and Xbox One. But nowadays it's kind of come back around, right? Like I think about early Xbox Live Arcade and PSN titles and things like that, where you'd have like your Flow and the Pixel Junk games and games that maybe were, whether they had a publisher or not, I mean, you'd finish them in like an hour, 2 hours, not a lot of content, very small dev team, small dev cycle. And now we've got a scenario where like a lot of these, sort of smaller scale games that maybe people would consider that, like your Stray or your Bug Snacks or Hades or something, right? And those are like, in a weird way, like people would maybe consider them indie, whether they have a publisher or not, but they're still like, a pretty big team. Those games could easily be in the $500,000 to 7-figure plus range to make nowadays. They do get disc prints, and is that really not sort of filling in the AA space? Do they not sort of have that? I almost find that they do fill in that dearth a little bit, even though there are other scenarios from more established publishers, like maybe THQ games or something, right? Like people typically associate THQ games with the AA space, but in a weird way, it's almost like those smaller scale titles have blown up and filled that niche. And now it's like the really small stuff that comes out on Steam and PSN, Xbox Live, even the eShop all the time. Like, is that like lowercase a, like actual truly small bite-sized games? That's sort of what I keep thinking about with comments like this.
What's that new game? The cool looking kind of RPG game that was just announced to be $50, I think today.
Claire Expedition.
Yeah. Like that's kind of how I view. Like when I see $50 for a game, boom, AA. Like that's one of the things I definitely, and that's
did RoboCop drop at?
RoboCop
like 50 or 62.
That looked like that felt AA as well, right? When we were playing that.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of, but that's also higher end AA. Because like all AA isn't the same or anything like that. Like there are some that are obviously a bit more of higher quality and stuff like that. So I kind of look at those as like the top tier AA games of the modern era.
So just doing some market research here. Price point is what makes you guys see value of the game.
Not me, because games can be more expensive and not, like maybe not as quality.
I mean, yeah, but it's not the only thing. But if you see a brand new game that obviously, what's the name of the Claire Exposure or something? What's it called?
Claire Obscure
Expedition
RPG. Expedition 33. Claire Obscure Expedition 33.
Expedition 33.
RPG 85.
So when at least I know what the fuck it is.
You don't know.
I know what the game is. I just don't know the name of it because the name of it was made by a toddler pulling out words out of a fucking bottle of words.
Next year we basically on
I'm here to annoy RGP if you guys
33.
don't know yet. I'm here to
It's
annoy
really-
him to say stuff.
So when I don't know, I'm not going to speak for everyone, but when I see a brand new game, Celia, that obviously has, you know, some development budget into it, and I see it at a $50 price point, you know, without further inspection, you assume that it's not, because a AAA game is never going to be $50. It's always going to be whatever the ceiling is for the video game market at that place. So yes, I think it does. It plays a role, at least in first perception of it, because OJ is right. There have been games that have been vastly overpriced as well, but it does give you kind of a guideline to go on with this game, and you're like, oh, well, you know, $50, that's kind of, you know, different than what we're seeing here. So I don't expect it to be like a big AAA game.
You know, when I saw that $50 price tag, the thing, because it kind of like broke while I was streaming the other day, and we all thought it was going to be less of a, in terms of time. That's what I thought. I knew that the value, or like the budget of the game seems very high. The graphics quality, all that's very good. But I immediately thought, oh, it's only gonna be like a 10-hour game. Then like they're gonna, obviously it's gonna be shorter. It's gonna be something like, what was it? Hellblade. Remember how they were advertising the first Hellblade as like a AAA game, but like half of a AAA game? You know, you got the graphics and everything, but the length isn't going to be there. But they said that the game's 30 plus hours, and their explanation for it was that that they're a small studio that has the spirit, you know, of an indie, but we're making a big game, and it's our first game. We want people to try it. Like, we want to get people in the door. So something, I mean, and they've got a Game Pass deal. Looks like they've got a publishing deal with Bandai Namco and somebody else to distribute. So it looks like they're trying to offset some of that you would see usually go into the price by having the Game Pass deal, by having some of these other things. But it does seem like it's a AAA game, but they're just, you know, they know that they might not be able to get into buy it, like people to buy it as a turn-based RPG, like with really good graphics. I mean, most people, you know, when you look at it, that's dominated by the Japanese scene. And then all of a sudden you're saying, hey, buy this, you know? So if you charge $70 for that, that might be a little bit rough for people to just jump in for a new IP. So I think they're also hoping that people will try it out, even though it might be worth 60 or 70. I think they're also hoping that people will try it out at the $50 price range, you know?
Sandfall Interactive.
I mean, it's better to sell two things at $50 than one thing at $70. Like,
it becomes more of an impulse buy. If you're an RPG fan, it becomes more of a, okay, well, maybe I'll check that out day one. I mean, if you're not going to do Game Pass, but if you're buying it on PlayStation, you're just going to be like, well, I mean, yeah, $50. Yeah, sure, I'll try it out, you know?
I mean, think about, and not to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just thinking, you know, think back to the PS2 era, the arguably one of the best eras for the AA thing. But think of how many games got sold because of their price point. When NFL 2K5 and Madden 2005 came out, and Madden was $50 and NFL 2K was $20. Same thing with NBA. I remember, you know, very early internet era, going to a GameStop with my buddy, and we were just looking at games, and we saw this game that had just come out called Obscure, and it was $20 or $30, and we were like, what the hell is this? And we started looking at it, and like OJ said, it became an impulse buy, and then we ended up thoroughly enjoying the game. So it was like, you know, I think a lot of companies don't
that game.
Huh?
You still have that game, Obscure?
No,
That's
it's expensive.
game.
It's expensive now. Yeah, it probably wasn't a huge print run, but it's a good game. But I think a lot of companies, like, they don't see that. They don't see I could sell two things for $50 or one thing for $70. And that also goes back to, you know, how big the industry has gotten, things like shareholders, things like people to report to and stuff like that. Like, if a shareholder says, well, why is this, you know, this should be 70, blah, blah, blah. Like, what you can do?
Yeah, Sean really touched on a really good point with it's not just shareholders, but just kind of like how the games ecosystem is with pricing. It's incredibly unhealthy because in the not AAA, but even AA scene, you know, marketing budgets, you know, are larger than indie, but the marketing budget can rival the cost of what an indie game would be to produce. So even if the game sells well, like, you know, you sell tons of units, it doesn't, it's a drop in the bucket when you're measuring with development costs and the marketing So it ends up being judged as a failure, even though it sells well. So like, I don't know, there's just so much with it. And I hope AA survives.
I hope Expedition 33 does well, because it's looked good pretty much every step of the way so far. So, and when they say 30 hours, I saw some people were like, "Oh, that's it." I'm like, that's perfect. I don't need the game to be 80 hours every time.
Yeah, they're I mean, when people say that's it, they're trying to compare it to, stuff like Metaphor, they're trying to compare it to Persona, and it's like, you're not going to get that, which I didn't think I was going to get that with this game. Just right off the back, when I saw the game in I'm like, there's no way that they're going to be able to make this 80 hours, and that's just not Western developers' MO anyway, So I kind of knew that it wasn't going to be that, but I was concerned that it was going to be like a 10-hour type thing for a turn-based RPG that's inspired by Final Fantasy and Persona. 10 hours just doesn't cut it. Like 10, 15, it's just not, you can't do what you want to do in this type of game. But 30 plus that much more in side content, so it could be up to 60. That is good. That's really good. That is plenty. 30 hours is plenty. As well, for this type of game, and at $50, I think it's perfect. It's perfect for that and how it looks and everything. So yeah, I think it's going to do well. They said 250,000 wish lists on Steam. Not that that's like, it's going to sell that day one, but I think this could blow up and be one of those. I mean, I'm not going to say it's going to be like Black Myth Wukong in terms of sales, because there's other factors with that, but I think it can kind of be like one of those like super cult hits, that people really enjoy on PC starting out, and then of course the console players and Xbox, the Game Pass stuff. So yeah, I'm really hoping. I think it's going to be solid though. They had another trailer. They have the voice cast. The voice cast is awesome. Did you guys see the people in the game? I mean, it's incredible.
Some well-known names in there. I saw. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Ben Starr.
Ben Starr was in there. Yeah,
Final Fantasy 16. So I mean, there's some good stuff in there. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Okay. Josie, you all right over there with your boogers? I saw you blowing your nose.
I'm half sick.
Just making sure you're okay.
I'm okay.
Let me ask you a question, sucker. Why'd you beat me up at the Green Fog Market?
You need a
that was like one of the best segments in history. Yeah,
Booker T. I don't know, the King. I like King Booker the best. Well, WCW Booker T was really good, but King Booker was just very funny. And then Black Snow. That was TNA. That's kind of a deep cut, but very funny.
Real quick, we did have the new Xbox Series system came out. It's like the one that doesn't have this drive. It's all white. And they also had the Galaxy one as well. That was like $600, 2 terabyte, does take a disc. But after teardowns, it appears that Microsoft did move some stuff around, seemingly made things maybe a bit cheaper inside, moved to 6 nanometers for the chipset. The heatsink was changed up a bit, probably to extract some of the materials that were more expensive. And it did just make me think, because we have this coming out, or it's out now, but technically it's not that much. It's like $450 without a disk drive. And I realize we are about to be 4 years in the generation. We see a revision like this, and it didn't really move the needle in terms of pricing. Does anyone think that we are going to see any kind of significant price drops before the end of this generation at this point? Because it has not felt like
for
any
Xbox
kind of movements happen
in general
for anyone really at this point.
Well, I mean, Nintendo, I think eventually will, when the new system, and might not be like you're used to saying. I think, you know, it's funny. I had no idea that this came out. I knew it was coming out. I didn't even know it came out. Almost like Xbox is just like, let's get rid of this stock, and then yeah, like I mean. I'm sure when Xbox when Phil Spencer comes out, we've decided to leave the console market, then they'll probably drop in price.
Hey, you just saying that they're going to leave the console market?
Do you really think they're going to do that?
Why would they care?
Yeah, thank you, Evan.
Yeah.
If I could play the games on PS5, if I could stream it anywhere on any device, or I don't need the console. Why am I buying?
Well, they're going to make another system. They already said they're going to do it.
They're going to make a
Xbox
branded PS5. Is that what
Trip Hawkins said they were making another system? It's called the M2. Did it ever come out?
Oh,
like, I'm just saying.
Yeah, didn't Apple make that? They know they got that.
Maybe they just sidestep and it's a USB stick. You can just plug into your TV and it works.
Yeah, that's that.
No, they're gonna make a Steam machine. They're clearly gonna make a Steam machine next. Like
there were discussions that they were
gonna,
they might license out. I remember there were some discussions they might license out the Xbox name and have other companies make it their own system. Kind of thing. I don't know if you're gonna do that, but that has been a discussion going around.
That's DOA if they do that.
John, you need to make one.
Spawn Wave branded one.
I'll make
Yeah.
one.
Oh, that'd be
Next
sick.
box. It's,
Called
it's
the
very
GameCube.
easy.
GameCube Spawn Wave 2.
Hey,
The Game Wave.
Game
Yeah.
All
Game
streaming.
Wave.
No, you fools! The Gamecast. It's right there.
game.
No,
Malibu's
that's
most
right.
wanted.
That was
It's close.
I got a
Game Sphere?
Gamecast. I mean, there's a GameCube and a Dreamcast. No, I got a Gamecast.
a Gamecast.
Oh my god. I know we are making fun of Sean for that assumption. Also, my comment on this, by the way, disclaimer is 0% of any industry insight. Sean does have a really good point about of just kind of where it looks like Xbox is going. Like, this is my personal opinion, just to, just saying that again. Because if you're looking
What were you
at
saying? It's your personal
Xbox's-
opinion?
Oh, my next statement is personal opinion, nothing to do with anything of my relationship with
Okay.
Xbox. Anyways, no,
Wanted to
Sean
make
does
sure.
have a, you always got to make sure. You
Yeah,
got to
yeah,
state that
absolutely.
correctly. Anyways, it's kind of one of those things where, like, if you're looking at Xbox's marketing strategy for the past, like, I don't know, like 6 years, 7 years, it's kind of confusing because they've been really diversifying and putting their games on other consoles, and it's not really focused on you have to buy our console to play our games. They're making money whether you buy it or not. And since they've been doing such an emphasis on cloud gaming, I don't think that they're necessarily going to step away from the console market next generation, but it's definitely going to have less emphasis on it since they have other options that they're shoveling money into. It just for the way that they're positioning things, it just kind of looks like what the trend it's going to be. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they expanded and kind of pulled back a little bit from consoles. But we'll see. I don't know. I could be wrong. They could announce the whole lineup till like 2050. I don't know.
Make that handheld.
But Sean definitely has a point.
Make that handheld. That's
Okay,
all we're
so
waiting
I'm,
for.
Why?
I'm getting my video.
You
I'm getting my video ready.
John,
Xbox
They-
DS.
I'm getting my
They
video ready
have-
on what you just said, by the way.
No.
that?
Oh God.
What was that stupid thing that we bought, or at least I bought it? The
What- what-
$200.
Logitech?
Yeah.
We
That-
what?
that was the Xbox handheld. Remember, you
Oh,
stream
man.
everything. It's built in. I can play Xbox. John, they're making it so any Xbox game that I own, I can now stream. So I can stream any of these games that I own on my ROG Ally on my Steam Deck. There's your hand. Why would you make?
I think what I want is a PC handheld that has a good OS attached to it.
I mean, if it's streaming,
I mean,
the
the
reality is
Steam
your
Deck is the
handheld.
closest
You already
thing.
have it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
You've already got your
It's,
hand.
all it is marketing, really. At the end of the day, you could get one of
Well,
those
If they made
phone-
Windows and it was like Windows for gaming handhelds, then that'd be fine because we already have a bunch of handhelds at that point. That's like the biggest drawback is
that you have
Windows
to
is not
press a
great for those
button.
things.
You got to press one button to get into the store. That's a big deal. Interesting.
I've seen the
No,
Windows
just like the-
store on PC. Yeah, it is a big deal. It's a problem.
The OS isn't like it's just not equipped for it yet. Apparently they're working on stuff for it, and there might just be one that's specific for like how they tried to do like Windows for ARM because they had like those the Surface tablets that were really big for a little while, and then they kind of faded away a bit. But that's the idea. I would like to see them at least develop that, and then just say, okay, whoever can use it, Asus, Lenovo, whatever. So just a Windows mode that works better for it is all. Ryan, you were shaking your head at the idea of console prices going down.
They're not.
Okay.
Nintendo Switch
enough.
has not seen an MSRP cut, and I'll do you one better. PlayStation 4 only saw one official cut in 2016, down to $300 USD, and the console technically never went down. It saw sales, and that's the wiggle room the manufacturers have. They'll do sales, but official cuts have literally not happened for almost 6-7 years now.
Man, you
Just
remember that
Bill of
remember that-
materials
I remember that $200 slim PS4 that had Spider-Man with it that Black Friday. Remember that?
Yeah.
That's a thing
Yeah,
of the
that's-
thing of the past.
yeah,
Did that actually even happen? Was that real? I'm not sure if it even would happen anymore, considering the fact that we're getting price increases. I think there was also another price increase that we got. I forgot what region it was, but I think PlayStation just increased the price again in another region. Don't remember which one it was though. But
Was it
it's-
Japan? Or you think?
No,
it's
not they
different?
already. It's a new one that they've increased.
Probably
the price
Australia.
to.
It's always
Oh,
Australia.
I
great.
forgot where
Love
it was.
that.
It might have been an Asian country, but I'm not exactly sure. But they did increase the price again. So I basically what I'm saying is I agree with with Mystic Ryan on that one. They're
I'm
not
gonna give
gonna-
Ryan like a mute button because one of the top comments on Click R3 is that I cut him off. Give him a mute button. You can just mute me whenever.
It's Yeah, it's bill of materials. Everybody has to deal with it. I mean, they've all, in a way, increased MSRP in certain countries where the exchange rate's not favorable, or the local currency is not really strong. And they've done it indirectly. Like the digital edition PS5 went up $50. Microsoft had to do it in a number of ways. Same with the Switch, bringing in the OLED model. It's just a different landscape nowadays. It really is. It wasn't even worth it to like aggressively price down PlayStation 4 near the tail end of its life cycle, because consumer habits are also a lot different nowadays. Like you just can't offer $100 PS2 in the same way that they can with PlayStation 4, and they don't really have to, because people are transitioning over to the new console at a pretty reasonable rate anyway. If you can have the average selling price of a PlayStation 5 be $450 to $500 for the entire life cycle, I mean, why would you not do that?
So the increase was in South Korea, and it's the second time. So that's the region that I was talking about. But yeah, even if you look at Xbox, right? They're not selling very well, right? And how many price they're just like, nope. They've had price increases. So if you're not even selling well, like that well, and you're still increasing the price or keeping it steady or finding new ways to increase it, I mean, clearly nobody else.
They have a $600 system now.
Yeah, clearly nobody else is gonna drop the price on anything. If someone who's, I'm just saying, quote, like last place, I don't mean it in that type of way, but like, when it comes to like the big three at least, right? Like, yeah, you're not gonna get any price drops anytime at this point.
I feel like the Switch could.
Well, yeah, Nintendo could, but still, they went a whole generation without really doing one. They've just introduced new models. So, I mean, they could cut the price.
Right.
Yeah, but once, I'm talking about like prime time, like in the usually we get price cuts around this time, right? This is usually the time period.
You used to get price cuts a year after the system came out. Like,
yeah, usually you would get price cuts around this time, or you'd get at least 3 years or so. You'd see some cuts. Even if a system's selling well, you would still see something, but the Switch at this point, yeah, it's been like 7-8 years. So yeah, I think they will eventually once the new system's out. But yeah, like I don't think I'll see it with any of like the newer systems coming out, or like Switch 2 or whatever. We'll probably never see price cuts again unless something crazy happens. I don't know.
We'll probably just see bundles during the holiday season.
Yeah.
So we can get another copy of Horizon Zero or something, or whatever's coming out.
That is the other way to value propositions. They've got a little bit of wiggle room, or they'll do console bundles. That's really your sales nowadays.
Well, yeah, because like even the retailers, like that wiggle room, like with MAT pricing, I don't know if some of the stuff's well known or not, but I don't think the retailers would be able to do cuts on their end either. So it's a bummer.
No. It was difficult. It was difficult. The only time Black Friday would work was they would tell us how much money they would give us a rebate on, and then we would decide if we want to cut it that much. And most times we wouldn't just take the rebate. But it took them about 6 months to send us the rebate. So,
love that.
Well, when you ordered like I think at the time Xbox Ones then, or even PS4, it retailed like a PS4 retailed for $400, and it cost us $396 at wholesale, and then we spent about $10 shipping it. So we technically lost like $5 on the system bringing it in.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, it was common. It was very common. The idea was, we'll sell this thing, and then we'll sell them a controller. We'll sell them a bunch of used games. We'll make money on the end. So to be honest, if we didn't have the option of used games, I don't know why we would have had new systems at all. So, I'm going to go down to. Here's a good one, Ryan, for you. Sony and Amazon rebooting the God of War TV series. Apparently, they have the showrunner and executive producers leaving. This was actually a report that popped up yesterday, and it seems like they like the script, but they're going in a different direction creatively. They want it to be live action, though. I don't know how people feel about that with these different video game adaptations, but it's interesting to me that even at this point, they wouldn't decide to go animated with something like this. And maybe that's just my preference at this point for some of these TV series, because I see the animated ones at least come out a bit more frequently, it feels like. What do you think about this, Ryan? God of War? I mean, who knows when it's coming out then if it's rebooting?
Yeah, this thing's got to be really far away. It's God of War. I'm sure the company's going to be like very committed to getting this thing done at some point. And maybe that's why they're being a little bit careful about the script and who's associated with the project, is that it's like a very boutique IP, and they want to make sure that if they're going to do it, they want to have this thing be like a Last of Us HBO, and that it's like very well received.
That's good.
I'm very selfish on this. I think God of War would be better suited for like an MCU style $300 million movie. Like it's God of War, you know. It's always been known for this larger than life sort of crazy action and combat, and I don't know. I feel like a movie would be better served, but I was always a little bit nervous with hearing that it was going to be a TV series. So
yeah, I mean, a movie would be, I think, pretty good for it, because I feel like that's something they could, like an adventure, they could fit into a nice 2-hour block, even if it had to go to 3 hours. They could get that done, and you're right, it would actually work pretty well on a big screen IMAX, the whole thing with some of those visuals that I'm sure they could do. This was from Deadline, by the way. I just want to make sure I had that correct for the place that reported this one. Man, if it's rebooting though, we're probably years out then, which I mean could work out for them if we have the next God of War game announced towards the end of this generation. So I mean maybe that's the silver lining for it. I don't know.
Yeah, between that and Horizon, they're both in limbo right now because the Horizon Netflix series is also backed up. So
well,
but between those two IP, I can't see how they would not want to make sure they get made at some point. But it seems like they're way far away now.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if they can find apparently showrunners and executive producers for this thing because they all left. So
I guess the one EP, like people were saying like, oh, that's actually good news because they worked on some other show before that I guess people didn't like. So I wouldn't know, but I'm like, oh, well, maybe there's something to this.
Okay. Well, I guess that's going back in the hopper for a while. So we'll see a couple of years probably towards the end of this generation. Hear about that, hear about the game, the new game, get things rolling again. We'll see on that. Let's go. We'll go over to the Xbox partner preview show, which, you know what, I asked people what their rating was for it, you know, like the A through F score, whatever grade. And a lot of people didn't realize this happened. So it's funny. That's why I thought it was kind of funny, Sean, when you mentioned that you didn't know that Xbox console came out. There are a lot of people who didn't know this event even happened. So I don't know if it's the marketing once again from Microsoft or Xbox or what, but I just thought that was kind of funny. Everyone always knows there's a state of play coming. Everyone always knows there's a direct coming. For some reason, these partner preview things from Microsoft always slip through the cracks for people.
Was this announcement shadow dropped? Because I didn't even know about it.
Okay, see there. Yeah, it was announced. I also covered it in Newswave, and then that's the thing. I was like, I feel like people that I know were commenting before are like, I didn't know this happened. Well, they announced it a couple days before, and then they had it on Thursday.
Yeah, there wasn't really a lot of hype heading into it because they kind of said what was going to be in the show beforehand. So people were like, oh, okay. You know, so it was just kind of like they didn't make a big deal out of it or anything like that, which, you know, it's not supposed. It's just games that we've seen before, games that have been announced, and they just kind of give us some new trailers. Maybe they say, oh, it's on Game Pass now. So.
I know people in our Discord were weirding out because someone was saying everything that was being announced, and people were like, what the hell are you talking about? No one had any clue what was going on.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just because I don't know if Microsoft just maybe they need to figure it out with these partner previews because there were some legitimate games here that seemed interesting. Like okay, so obviously Alan Wake 2 Lake House expansion, people already know about that one. That's coming out next week. I'm sure Alan Wake fans are already all over this. But then we had Chronos: The New Dawn, and that's from Bloober Team, and it's coming out next year. It was kind of a strange trailer because it was this big monstrosity thing playing chess with an old lady. And I guess they lost. And then the last shot was them going in to basically rip the old lady in half. But it's Bloober Team. And after Silent Hill 2, I am paying more attention to them now. It did kind of look like a third-person horror game, sort of like Callisto Protocol, maybe.
A bit more
like
actiony, yeah.
Yeah. So, but I'm paying attention to them more after what they just did. It's kind of like that. What have you done for me lately? And it's like, okay, Bloober Team, some good there with Silent Hill 2. So I'm interested to see what this new IP is that they're making. Chronos: The New Dawn. So we'll see. Blind Fire, that's early access actually right now. And it's a game. It's a first-person shooter where they remove light and use echo basically to find people. I have no idea how well that's going to turn out. I looked it up on Xbox. It's $6 to get into the early access, or you get 60 minutes to try it. Yes. I went to start it up and it was like, you have 60 minutes. Are you sure you want to start right now? I was like, no, not really. So I didn't try it yet. So
kind of our Daredevil game, just with guns.
It's funny. I thought a little bit about Daredevil when they were explaining it. I'm like, that would actually be kind of cool for Daredevil. I don't know if I want that as a competitive first person shooter, but see, that would be kind of cool for Daredevil. Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. Continues to be quite the title, but this looks like Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I'm sorry. This ship customization, they have naval battles, and they moved it up a week, February 21st, and they specifically cited Monster Hunter as one of the reasons why. Like, we're getting out of the way of that. We're moving up a week. You can pick it up and play it now earlier. So I mean, it looks fun.
I'm very excited about this game. I fell in love with the Yakuza series during Zero and like learning more about Majima rather than him just being a crazy guy that pops up occasionally and fights you. So I've like constantly like wished for a Majima focused game. I think Pirate is like, or him being a pirate is so on brand for his weirdo character that it's incredible. I would love to see more games of him just doing even weirder stuff, like him going to space. I would love Majima in space, or anything of the sort.
Eventually.
Excellent, love that. Just steal like a spaceship or something. I don't know. Being able to customize the ships, like as you mentioned, like the cheetah print one. Like I don't know. I just think it's fantastic. It would be cool to be able to like add your own art to it too, so you could draw a bunch of weird shit. I'm really looking forward to this. The humor's there. The gameplay looks really fun. And I'm really excited to see where they took this game.
Did you see that they were around, like rolling around in their ship, and they roll up to another one and they jump off of it onto and board the enemy ship and stuff? Like, it looked ridiculous.
It's cool. I can't wait. It's going to be great.
So maybe that even if people aren't into Yakuza, they see that they're like, oh wow, it looks kind of like Assassin's Creed Black Flag. They might pull some people in for the first time with this one. So
I think that'd be cool.
We had Mouse PI for Hire, which certainly stood out because it looked like it was old cartoons, is black and white style. I almost thought it was a spinoff of Cuphead at first when they were showing it, but that's out next year, and I think that actually looks really cool, right? Okay, so you noticed it, Ryan?
How do you not know?
I've followed that. I followed this one for a while.
Yeah, it's been on Steam for a bit.
Yeah, so I think, correct me if I'm wrong, this was like a confirmed console announcement finally for this game. So
yeah.
I'm very excited for it. It looks so goofy and
solid boomer shooter.
Love mice shooting people up. It's so cool.
It's a Steamboat Willie thing, John.
Thank you. It reminded me of Cuphead when I was seeing it. So, but it definitely looks unique for like a first person shooter. So, it's you said it's been on Steam for a bit though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, it's been available to wishlist on Steam, or it's been
available to wishlist. I've been looking at video and stuff for it for a while.
Okay.
I have a side question for you on that. Okay, so when I was watching some of the trailer for that game, like there's a lot of like asides that the character makes. You know, he'll just like make little comments. Do you think that's going to happen a lot? Because so this game is obviously unrelated, but gameplay style is very similar. You know, Trover Saves the Universe, like the little gun that talks to you. Yeah. And like at first, I really liked the game. I thought it was super cool and it was fun. But
then
like,
they don't shut up.
It kept going, and the joke stopped being novel.
That's why a lot of JRPGs kind of get to people. The whole like, oh right, like it's the constant character saying something over and over again.
The Monado, the power of the Monado. I'm really feeling it.
I'm feeling it.
So yeah, it
just the best like, part. What the hell are you guys talking about?
I just think it's for that. Like, I don't know. Because with a lot of JRPGs, like I do enjoy that, but it just really bothered me in Trover, and like the sides kept on happening in the trailer, and I'm like, does that happen because they're just doing a really cool part and then that's naturally when the dialogue would happen? Or are you just constantly getting little like Mickey comments? I don't know. That's like my fear, but it looks cool.
High on Life, you had the gun that would talk to you or the guns would always talk to you. They had like a little slider. You could turn it up or down for frequency of how much they talk to you. So maybe they have something like that they incorporate. I don't know.
That game was a banger.
They do really need to hit that like perfect spot where you're just not hearing.
High on Life.
Yeah.
What?
I beat the entire game.
You never said anything?
A big High on Life enjoyer.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was Nate and I are the only ones who liked that game.
Well, I think didn't we just talk about it before? Yeah, I don't think she was on the show when
I don't
were talking about it
here yet.
Wow. Okay. So you wow. I'll tell Nate, he'll be shocked because he thought it was just him and I that liked the game.
No, I'm a big High on Lifer. I think it's
MVG
great.
did the MVG did the double jump part in the beginning and turned it off after that. That was it. Like where it
What?
lied to him about double jump. Yeah, that hurt him inside. That was enough.
That
It
was
offended
so
him much.
funny.
Yeah, it was like, do a double jump. It's like, you idiot, there's gravity. There's no double jump in this game. Go around. It's like, okay, sorry.
It's so good.
I liked High on Life. I thought it was a fun game.
Me too.
Well, there you go. I'll tell Nate.
If this
He'll
is
be- he'll be-
anywhere
he'll be
near High
proud.
on Life, I'll be all over it.
Okay, there we go. We had Subnautica 2. I did not play the first Subnautica, so I cannot comment on this one. But I guess the fan base of the first one seemed really excited for this one. So
I'm excited.
okay, there you go. You played Subnautica, the first one.
Yes, I like it a lot.
Yeah,
Evan did too.
long time ago.
Wow, it's all coming
Yeah,
together.
Way in its early
Like,
access.
when it was the beta.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, that's when I played it.
Great for
Yacht
people who
Club.
are scared of the ocean.
Yeah. Yacht Club, when I first got hired, was going through a serious Subnautica phase where like everyone was playing this game, and it was like the first time I had heard of it. So I think we're probably gonna have like team playthroughs of this, and I think it's on Game Pass, which will make playing a bit easier.
I believe
me.
so. I think they had the Game Pass logo with it. I believe so. Yes, Subnautica 2.
Yeah.
Yep, looks like it. Good stuff. Cool. Animal Well, that's available now. Highly recommend it. If you have never played Animal Well, it is an awesome game. It's very good. And I think it was like, it went to PlayStation Plus, so I downloaded it there, but I think it was like a $20 or $25 game. But it's a very good, it looks kind of like an 8-bit style game, but it has some extra effects that you would have with the newer systems mixed in. But it's a Metroidvania, but it's a really well thought out puzzle Metroidvania. So highly recommend it. Absolutely. That's actually out now on the Xbox, so go check it out. Eden Zero, that's out 2025. Eternal Strands is next year, along with Mistfall Hunter. Wheel World. This was it's like a cell shaded biking game. That's all I really took away from that.
Used to be called a Ghost Bike, I think, and it was
really
supposed to
A little too
supposed to-
straightforward.
Yes, supposed to come out this year. I think they had this is like a indirect delay, and they also dropped last gen versions as well. I think so. That's what's going on there.
Phasmophobia. It's October 29th. That's a week and a half from now. People seem pretty excited for that one. Not familiar with it.
PSVR 2
huge.
support.
Yeah, and huge on anything Twitch related. So hit its peak, tapered off. Now it's going to consoles. Solid play.
PSVR 2 though. Okay, so
Oh,
see,
yeah.
we're still looking for games for that headset. So there you go. Phasmophobia.
Yeah.
Okay.
No way I'm playing that. No fucking chance.
The Legend of Babu, and then Wu Chang Fallen Feathers.
Wait,
which
how
we've
dare
already-
you skip over
I'm sorry.
Legend
Okay,
of Babu?
Go ahead. You could
No.
talk
Was it
about.
was it the dog, the giant dog that?
Yes. Okay. I literally had in my notes, I do not care about this game. Oh, wait, Sammy, I have to play this game. Like, it literally was like live reaction. I love Samoyeds so much. And it's cute. And I'm really excited that you have to ride around on the dog. Yeah, that's it. It's important. I'm going to play it. I'll give
Sometimes
you
that's all it
guys
takes
a-
to give you a sale.
Hey.
Just put a giant dog in the game.
I know, literally, just any Samoyed like exposure, I think is awesome. So
Okay. Okay.
You like
Okay,
Clifford? You like
proceed.
Clifford? You a big Clifford fan?
I mean, Clifford's cool, but
There you
my family has Samoyeds, so like I just love them. They're cute dogs. They're huge. They're like they dwarf huskies. They're like giant. I love it.
Wu Chang Fallen Feathers, which we've seen a couple times. I think it looks awesome. That's out next year. It's a Souls-like game though, so I know people hear that and they're like, I'm kind of Soulsed out at this point. But I always say that, and then one of these games comes out and I pick it up and play it and enjoy it. So I don't think I'm quite like out of it for the Souls-like games, but I think just the effects, the art style, a lot of the stuff they showed looks pretty cool. So I am on board for that one. And then we have the Remedy game. This is not what I was expecting when I heard that Remedy would be here with their new game. It's a FBC Firebreak 3-player co-op. Actually, this might be your kind of game, Evan.
Maybe.
It looks like a first-person style game. Looks like they're going in and cleaning up. Almost.
It's based on the Anomalies, right? Like that's the group from that universe that just go around and find anomalous things, but you get to use them as weapons in this. Like there's comedy. It looks like in this. It's just funnier.
Yeah. It's
You might be shocked, but I'm actually kind of into this.
Oh, whoa, hold on.
It
Yeah.
looks like it could be cool. It's just maybe.
I like the Control universe a lot. So like, even though I just don't really play a lot of like multiplayer stuff or co-op games, even I was looking at this going, "Ooh, hold on."
Because if you're into
universe?
Control, you're probably
Yeah.
going to use some of the things that you find out about in that game, like the gnome statue. I think was
the objects of power.
yeah,
So all the sort of
the cursed items, basically.
yeah, the cursed items. I'm trying to think of what the actual internet lore is. The name of
anomaly
it.
stuff. Yeah,
I can't. What are they called?
I can't remember.
F something Foundation.
Like the
SCP
freezer
Foundation.
yeah. I mean, that's
There
who
you
you're
go.
working for. It looks like, and it looks like you're trying to just escape or something.
Yeah, you're just like a federal bureau agent, just like I guess fighting off these things or something. I don't know.
You might be the
cool.
janitors. They look like they put on whatever they could find as armor just to get the hell out.
Yeah, the
They had, like the
janitors.
radiation suit on and stuff.
Get some
Yeah,
duct
they-
tape on there.
So they said this is launching into Game Pass and PlayStation Plus. So
Yeah, so they're getting the deal from both companies. So is this a game we're gonna co-op through, Ryan? Because Sean cut me off immediately when I didn't even say anything, and he's like, "Nah, we're not playing this." Are we playing this then, Ryan? It's gonna be.
I think we should run trios with Sean. Come on, it's three player co-op.
I'm not playing the fucking game that has a gnome in it. I don't like gnomes. I think they're
Oh,
weird.
you're too good for.
Is it like a
gnomes.
phobia thing?
Yes.
Like if you
I
walked
don't
outside
like
and
it.
there was a gnome in your front yard, you wouldn't leave the house?
No, I would throw it in the trash. I'd kick it.
Think
throw it in the
gnomes keeping him
trash.
from leaving his
If
house.
I dropped racks a
Yeah.
couple $100 to just fill your front yard with gnomes, would it be a problem? Or
I mean, the homeowners association might get mad at you.
Well, we just need one other person then, Ryan. So we just need three people, right? Okay.
Oh, two
Okay, we
or
can figure that out.
two in a random. I don't know. Whoever. Maybe Nano will play with us.
Oh yeah, okay, we can do that. Or Josie. You have PlayStation Plus, don't you, Josie?
I do.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll find. We can find somebody. We can do the three. We can do the three. All right. That might be a good click R3 game. We'll see. That's next. Yeah, it's just next year. I don't think we have an
Next
exact
year.
date on it. Just 2025. But I mean, for a partner preview event that many people didn't know was happening, I thought it was all right. So for that, it's a decent enough grade for me. So, but that was the partner preview show. Oh, I did have down Bandai Namco. Sean, you briefly mentioned them earlier with the situation that was unfolding there. They were reportedly sending people to a room to do nothing to try to get rid of them. This was all reported by Wall Street Journal. I think it's Takashi Machizuki. And they also canceled several projects. One of them reportedly was from Nintendo. So we don't know what it was exactly. What we know, there's a lot of deals between Bandai, contracts between Bandai and Nintendo to work on different things. And there could still be other ones in play, but one just, I guess, didn't work out for whatever reason. But Bandai Namco seemingly shedding some just, I guess, just in their mind, redundant employees at this point, trying to figure out what to do with them. And you're right. It seems like the write-up is saying that they go to a room and they just do nothing.
I feel like I've heard this before. Like in all the news waves I've edited, I think Ubisoft does this.
Konami did this
No.
as well. Konami did this.
There was a write-up. One big company has a bunch of smaller companies within it. When they don't need like an artist for something, they'll put them in like a middling thing where you just go to a building and sit so that they don't put you back into the market space and they just keep you there. And it's like a weird thing where they could have people sitting in these buildings for like months on end and not actually doing anything, just hanging out.
That's wild.
I
Never
think
mind.
there are some big companies that do it. Like I think like a Google or like really big companies that like you can even get lost in the employee database. I feel like they do this. But go ahead, Celia.
Okay, so first off, that sounds awesome, not having to do anything. and you just
No,
get
it does.
paid.
But in the
Okay.
interviews, they do talk specifically about how you kind of have to do something. You have to appear like you're working, so it doesn't feel like you're just there to eat, but you have to be there.
So
Like it's just a weird thing where they're just like on their phones for 8 hours a day. Just that's it.
this
Yeah,
is
That sounds
interesting.
miserable.
Yeah.
It's shelving. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's in my head. It's like you don't have to do anything and you get paid. But also, I work from home, so I feel like that situation, from my point of view, would be very
Yeah,
different.
that'd be great from work from
Um,
home, but they had buildings for this.
Yeah, they gotta
no, they
go
sit
in
a
there.
little white room
and
with nothing, no
sit in a
windows.
When you're a
room.
game dev, there's like nothing to do. You're gonna get tired. You're gonna want to go somewhere where you're actually creating.
Yeah.
And I think that's when it comes to Bandai Namco, that's what they're doing, so they can get around the laws, so they can get around the situation.
Yeah.
If you just make people all like, man, I'm not doing anything, they can just go somewhere else because other developers are hiring, so they can just go somewhere else and work and actually have and advance their career. But I mean, if you're just doing nothing all day, there's no way that you're ever gonna get get promotions.
Also, let's be real. Couldn't
Yes.
they give you paperwork or filing or some
Yeah, they give
tedious
you
thing
some
to do?
bullshit
Get everyone
redundant task.
coffee.
So
Okay, yes, OJ is correct. It is very, like a lot of if a production is like taking too long or not getting enough work, of course, like that tends to be when certain employees will move to other companies just so they have their creative outlet. Because though game development is a business, it's also it's creatives, and you want to be proud of your work and you want to work because it's your life passion, all that stuff. But yeah, that firing like style from like what I read from it is so passive aggressive though. It's like, we're not going to fire you, but we're going to wait until you tell us I don't know. But it's so different from how America does it, where they just shut off.
It's the get around the laws because they can't fire them. Japan has these laws against firing people like that, like just letting people go. So this is a way to get around it. If somebody voluntarily leaves, then they don't have to worry about the law. They can't get in trouble, with whatever Japan's Better Business Bureau is or whatever they have to that keeps tabs on this. So
can we have that too?
Absolutely not.
No security for workers. Right to work country.
No, I mean, yeah, Bandai Namco. I mean, listen, one thing I'll say with Bandai Namco, all of their decisions are catching up to them. Like, this is all the different anime games that they've made that have been trash. They've put out like one good game in the last like 5. I mean, if you count like obviously like Fighters and stuff like that, Dragon Ball Z has been okay, but like multiple My Hero, they botched My Hero. My Hero super popular. What did they do? 2 mediocre to bad games. Look at the JJK game, Jujutsu Kaisen was. What are you doing? Like, that is just the biggest bag fumble in the world. Is the JJK game? It was terrible. The Naruto Shinobi Strikers, terrible. Like everything and then the most recent Naruto game was literally just a reskin. It's like you sold 10 million plus copies of Naruto using the same game, same engine, and you can't even put out a quality Naruto game on its 20th anniversary. You can't do they've done nothing. So I think this is all just catching up. People aren't buying it. People aren't buying their anime games like their Naruto and stuff like they used to. Like, they're just not. Only thing that's selling really when it comes to anime is Dragon Ball Z. Outside of that, the other stuff is not selling. So I think this is what is just kind of catching up to them at this point. The Naruto game that just came out last year, that didn't sell anything crazy either. So people are catching on finally. I made a video about it, I think last year, talk about like their scam is up because people are finally seeing it. And I think this is like the result of it. They just have people there because all of their anime games are flopping. I think there was another My Hero like Fortnite like battle royale game that they put out too. Like, and that was also, I don't.
Was that tied into phones too?
I'm not sure. It's like a My Hero Rumble or Ultra. I don't know. And it's just like, you guys have these goated animes, and this is what you're doing. Like, Sparking Zero, actually quality. They put some time into it. Look how well it sold. Obviously, stuff isn't going to sell as well as Dragon Ball Z, but I mean, they've got to do a better job than what they've done recently. So, yeah. Let
me go over to Banjo Tooie. Banjo Tooie is coming to Nintendo Switch Online October 25th. I thought this was a pretty funny reaction because it's a very good version of this has been on Xbox for a long time. And Banjo is such a Nintendo property just that Microsoft just happens to own. Because this gets announced and man, people are excited for this. But it's Banjo.
I'm excited for this.
See,
Banjo Tooie is great. Okay, well, no. Okay, in comparison to Banjo-Kazooie, it is the lesser game, but it's still fun. It's more Banjo adventures and silly banter and cute characters and adorable music. I'm really excited about it. I also like, since it's on NSO, you can play the 4-player multiplayer, like the shooting games and stuff like that on there, which is really fun. I don't know. I'm excited about it. I wish we got Banjo 3E of what it was intended to be. That would be a cool release. They should do that.
Widescreen too. So they will eliminate those really annoying gray borders on either side, which is good. Every time something Banjo happens, I swear the internet reacts so positively, so over the top that it's still amazes me. What's that, Josie?
It needs a new game.
Yeah,
It's
does.
a
It
Fortnite
does.
skin.
It needs.
Every time.
For- I can see them doing a Fortnite skin before a new
Oh
game.
God.
100%.
At this point, they should. Honestly, they need to do something to get Banjo moving again. And I know these announcements are cool and people get excited, but like you just need to start getting Banjo out there to people as much as possible. Because
The internet also isn't a real place, though.
I just can't believe Microsoft hasn't been able to figure this one out. It's just so weird to me.
I mean, Rare hasn't been able to figure out Everwild, but they put the fucking guy from Rare in charge of. What's he in charge of now? Over at Xbox?
Xbox Game Studios,
Yeah.
right? Pretty much like the whole thing.
It's a great.
I think that's
great
more
person.
on the Sea of Thieves. I think that's more. That's the thing that got him there. It's like, oh, you made Sea of Thieves. All right, cool. Here you go.
Yeah, Sea of Thieves made more money than like everything Rare's done, like combined.
It's like all time. Yeah.
So I think that's one of the reasons why he got that big promotion there.
40 some odd million players for Sea of Thieves. Some crazy number. So I mean, at that point, it's like, all right, here you go.
You earned it.
Hey, and you know what? None of you assholes made the documentary, but I did. All right, I'm going to
You
watch the
did.
next game.
Yo, they were ready to dunk all
All right,
over Sean.
Take it
That
easy,
documentary
Stone
was
Cold,
crazy.
Sean Austin.
Bye. Going to watch
Bye.
next. Go next. I can't believe you didn't fucking talk about the analog when I was here, but Celia will take up for me because we talked about it Wednesday on Game and Talk. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on.
Anyway, new banjo game. Make it happen, Microsoft, someday. I don't know. Man,
I'm
Would it
gonna
even
make-
be a
I'm gonna make it.
collectathon? If they were going to do it, it would have to be low budget. There's no way they sell extreme amounts of numbers for a collectathon in modern times.
Don't tell them that. How dare you?
No, but that's the thing.
I want that game so badly. I
What
will
if-
buy all the How many do I
But-
need to buy?
But what
Time
if
to
they
sell my
could
house.
just
Let's do it.
low budget it, small team it? Like
What
there's
does
so
low
many
budget
things
mean
with
for Microsoft.
Well, yeah, not like six figures.
$1 billion
If there's going to be sharks with lasers.
for
it'll be awesome.
Microsoft. They big money over there.
the thing
Yeah,
that-
It could be like the
Banjo-
last Raymond game that came out. Like they could aim for something in a similar.
The thing that
vein.
would actually work in its favor, though, is Microsoft is they're just open to releasing these games on other platforms. You make a new Banjo game, put it on Xbox Game Pass, but you also put it on Nintendo system and
Yeah.
maybe, I guess PlayStation and PC. You put it everywhere. It's like it would have a chance. It had a fighting chance then, I think.
but I don't think like if it was $100 million, they'd like the return.
I wouldn't put that much.
Don't worry, I got it.
Phil
I got
Spencer's
it.
gonna
Xbox.
hear this conversation and he's gonna flip a coin whether he's done.
Yes,
some
he listens
shit
to
or
the show.
not. He's gonna.
Just
That's how they make decisions.
small budget, quick. Don't go crazy because then you don't do the dumb things where you're like, let's add nuts and bolts stuff into this, and everyone hates you for it. Like it,
Yeah, don't do that.
just keep it basic.
What if it was like Banjo Nuts and Bolts too? Like the
Dude,
title
I'll
screen
take-
stays up for a while. Banjo.
I'll take that at this point. I'll take it over nothing. Honestly,
I won't.
like you go back and play nuts and bolts. I mean, yeah, it's not what people wanted, but damn, it's better than not having anything for the past 20 years or whatever. How long have it
You
been?
got a
20?
character in Smash, you're fine.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. But I mean, like we haven't had
Is that a
new
video
game.
idea? How bad was Banjo Nuts and Bolts? Really?
People have done it.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
We're doing it. Yeah,
what
once
would-
Tears of the Kingdom came out, people started saying, "Is it better than Tears? Like, is this better?" Like, some people made videos on that. So,
Oh my
Fan.
god.
yeah, nuts and bolts because it's like you can do like creation and nuts and bolts, and,
Oh.
like vehicle. So people were comparing it.
Yeah, I wish that they marketed Banjo Nuts and Bolts like a Banjo pilot game rather than I don't know the lead up for that. But anyway, that's a different conversation for a different time.
No, I want to have it right now. What's the? No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
I mean, I will.
No, we can do it later. We can do it later.
Let's
Bonus show.
move over. Let's move over to the analog 3D. You guys did talk about this on Game and Talk. There's a whole episode dedicated to this thing over on Game and Talk right now. People can dive into there. But I wanted to bring it up here because this does seem like a big deal for retro gaming, for analog, the whole thing, because people have been, clamoring for a modern take on the Nintendo 64 console. They have. I have a lot of I have so many questions for this analog 3D, and I don't think they're going to answer most of them before they start taking money. So,
Oh, of course not. That's not how this
Well-
works. You silly.
they have. Pre-orders are going up starting next week. I think on the 21st. It's $250, but they are promising quite a bit. Like they have a whole 3D OS for this that actually looks pretty robust. It takes actual cartridges. It has Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, HDMI on the back, multiple USB ports, an SD card slot, and it's going to output, they say, lag-free, zero signal degradation at 4K with variable refresh rate. Like that sounds kind of ridiculous for Nintendo 64, which is notoriously kind of rough on just video. Like I have a N64, I think it's downstairs, that has HDMI out, and I've recorded footage from it, and it's still tough because you can only do so much with like the weird things that it does with the anti-aliasing, and I mean it's like a 240p image, but still it's early days for 3D. So I have and they haven't shown us any images of this thing at all. So I like the output video. Here's a game that's being played AV and 64. Here's the game going through the 4K or analog 3D. Here's a slider, and that's it. I think that's. It seems weird that that's not in the pitch.
It's probably not ready yet. Either I don't know. I'm very suspicious. So I am like full disclaimer, I am a Nintendo 64 kid. I also used to work in the retro market back in the day. And I've always had my eye on what I guess the potential of what the N64 clone console would be. And like we've had many claims over the years. I was a part of the Hyperkin one. Oops. There was like the Poly Mega. There was I forgot who else announced that they had a Nintendo 64 retro console of some sort. So I'm just curious of how this is going to work. I know that they're saying FPGA, but they're also talking about side loading, and they're talking about a lot of different things for this. So I'm kind of imagining it's going to end up being, kind of a Retron 5 deal, to be honest, or they're going to walk it back a little bit, because just their claims in general of saying, oh, it's 100% compatible. And I know that, when we hear FPGA, we think, oh yeah, it should be like technically 100% compatible, but there are a lot of issues, with different games. And there's like the Game Shark, for example, there's the Passport there, like there's so many things. So saying that, I just like, even Hyperkid, we would be like almost 100% compatible. Like you would always have a disclaimer in there just to, catch the rest of the in between. So I'm curious. I'm hopeful. I would love them to prove us all wrong. They do the pre-order, they sell out in their limited supply of whatever they're planning, and then they're like, see, it's perfect. Trust us. I would love to see that, but I don't know. I would love for you guys to open it up and see what they're working with once it's out.
I'm gonna do my best to secure one of these, and I feel like it's going to be not disastrous, but I think if it's in that situation of the pre-orders go live and they're gone in 2 minutes or something.
Website wigs out a little bit and it just says sold out. Like, all right, cool.
I'm gonna try. I've also at times been able to talk to Analog about getting like preview copies of systems and stuff. I did that with the Pocket, and they seem to go over well. So I'm gonna try to get a hold of one of these things one way or the other, because they were fine with me taking apart the Pocket. So I assume they'll be okay with me taking apart this one too. But I think like aesthetically it looks good. Like it's a good looking system. And if it all lines up at $250, I think some people looked at the price and they were like, that seems like a lot. I'll tell you, with the retro community and an Nintendo 64 that's HDMI modded, that's actually about right, if not a little cheaper than what you pay out for that. So pricing, I think, is okay.
Yeah, I was expecting it to be more money, to be honest, for like a 64. People are so hungry for that type of console.
Yeah.
We'll see. I will probably wait till they release fantastic colors, because they're going to. Like they did that with the Pocket. So I want a jungle green or an atomic purple. Oh man.
Get that orange smoke, that one, the Japanese only one. Looks so good.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
But Ryan, you get one of these?
No. I wanted a Pocket for a long time, and I keep saying, nah, I don't need it. But I like playing on like local hardware. I'm almost curious, like what is it about this where I just be better served with a retro tank and call it a day, where it's got much more utility because I can just plug anything into that? Which I've already got.
It was like the wireless controller function, right? But like, maybe not.
You can well with N64, they make the dongle that you can plug into the front on any of the ports, and it'll sync up to these different. So like the controller you can buy separately. It's $40, which actually the system technically does not come with a controller. So you have to either use your N64 controller now or buy this 8-bit DOE one, which is supposed to be set up for this thing. So you know what, Josie, you got that N64 controller from the convention. You did. Okay. I don't know if you're interested in this thing because it is like that. It's definitely geared towards like the old people, but I figured I would ask you what your thoughts are on the N64 controller first off, since you've had some time with it, and then the system.
Okay. I like the N64 controller. I don't think it's terrible, but I mean, I wouldn't really choose it over any other controller that I have available to me.
Right. No, that's right. That's correct.
I don't hate it, but I'll take anything else.
Well, it's like usable for sure, and it's cool. I think it works well for N64 games, obviously, and I honestly think it's like made me like a lot of N64 games more than I did without it. But yeah, I would choose to use it ever. And then I guess I probably am not going to get this thing unless they want to send me one, which would be lit. But like, I don't have an N64 collection. So what am I going to play on this baddie? Nothing. I also don't like, out of all the consoles there are, the N64 might be last on my list as to my favorite. So
let me ask you this, Josie.
I'm sorry.
Wii Classic gets announced. Are you on that?
Oh yeah.
There it is. Right.
Give me something that I'm nostalgic for. I'll be all over it. But it's just like,
the Wii Classic. Okay.
I'm so wrong with calling the Wii a classic.
I mean, the Wii is like
years old.
It's close. It's like it's gonna be 18. Hold on, it's gonna be 18 years old this next month. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. That was
old system.
We're still holding off for when that's 20, and we all got to realize how old we are.
You'll just turn into dust. Like that's what's gonna happen.
It's old.
2 years it'll be 20 though. Be some serious reflection at that point. Yeah,
I do think it looks really cool, though. This Amberdick thing looks sick.
Damn, 20, really 20? God dang.
Isn't that crazy? Technically, next year, the 360 will be 20 years old.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah,
next year?
I was like a senior in college.
Yep. When the 360 came out, I was a senior in high school because I remember we left school at lunchtime and just left and went and got the system. So
I was like 3.
They weren't really looking for us. I don't know what happened. We just left.
I skipped school to pre-order a Wii.
See? Okay, good. Well, I remember for the Wii, we waited outside. I actually waited outside Walmart. Like we were just waiting.
Yeah, I was
during college. That was during college.
I was in college, so I just went and it was early in the morning. We had to wake up I had to wake up super early, and I went there and just pre-ordered it. There was like barely anybody in line at the game.
We stayed there. We actually stayed the night there in front of Walmart. We were just there all night.
Hell,
remember that? Yeah,
the old days.
We were there out in the line. We're waiting for this thing. We're ready.
You were ready. Yeah, I just went in the morning. There was nobody there. There was like one person there. I was like, oh, cool. I was like the second person in line. I was like, nice.
I just double checked why I don't have a console memory of that, and I was like, oh yeah, I was in the 8th grade, so I just went over to my friend's house and they had it. So,
well, it was an interesting time back then.
Very interesting.
Let's see. Let me go to. We do have that Nintendo Playtest this week, actually, right? 23rd. We didn't talk about it last week because I thought, you know what, maybe at some point this week they'll say what it is or do some kind of announcement. They didn't as of now, so I figure we'll get everyone's their official guess on the record here going into next week when I assume they're going to announce something, or they're just going to hope that the thousands of people they let in say nothing. Sure, that'll work out.
We're going to find out. I think on Sunday, we're going to get some more information this Sunday. We will get more information.
Okay.
Because the 20th is when you can, this is what I read.
Yeah.
I don't have any other information outside of that. The 20th is when you can actually like download whatever they're telling you. So we'll find out on Sunday.
Someone's data mining that thing right away.
Yeah, obviously people were talking about, Nintendo is actually going to make people not like, they know that people are going to talk about it. They're just, I don't know, maybe it was just trying to say something, but people are going to obviously talk about it. Like it's going to happen. So
Anyone have a final guess for what the streaming, the play test is going to be? Is it streaming? Is it some game that they're testing a multiplayer function on? Is it a feature for NSO?
It's got to be a combination of like all that, right? Like you're downloading some software. It needs to be play tested. So, I mean, and they're trying to keep it under wraps a little bit. They're holding people off so they don't want overload. Like if you look at all the stuff that they've done before, it's been open to the public. It's been global test fire Splatoon, right? Or the arms thing. But they've never done anything like this. In the history of me covering Nintendo, I've never seen anything quite like this in terms of since like the online era, at least. So it's got to be something more. I mean, what is it? You said Miiverse?
I said Miiverse.
Yeah, maybe it's like maybe it's like I thought maybe it's like a new streaming, like a new system, like where you can stream GameCube or something like that, and like with no more features, or maybe they've overhauled some of the interface or some of the stuff. I mean, I have no idea. It seems like it might be a combination.
It's just new themes. Like finally in the end of its life.
Play testing themes. That would be incredible.
Just out of nowhere.
2 gigabytes of themes. There's a lot of themes then, right? That'd be a lot of themes.
We've had these for a while. We just completely forgot to push it. We just want to make sure it doesn't break anymore.
They just dump like 2 gigabytes. Hey guys, check out these themes. See if everything works while you're playing your Switch. Oh man, that'd be great.
I'm here for it.
I looked up the last time they had something similar where they asked people not to share information online, which by the way, everyone just shared stuff online. It was for Wii Sports, the sports game,
the
beta,
where
people
right?
did bowling.
Yes,
bowling.
Yes.
You do a bunch of people doing bowling at once. That was the whole thing, right? And everyone were just sharing clips online anyway.
Yeah, so, I remember that. Yeah, I remember. But they announced it was that like something you had to sign up for, or was it just something you could just download and play, right?
I can't remember if you sign up for. I don't know if you signed up for it. It might have been something you just downloaded and played. But I remember they specifically said don't share footage online, and everyone was just recording from their Switch at the time anyway, and just posting right to Twitter as they were doing bowl. It was bowling, so people were excited about it and stuff. Sure, but that's the last time I looked, and Nintendo had kind of that clause of don't share what you're doing technically online because we're testing it and it might break. So they, Nintendo has that whole thing about quality where they're trying desperately to shield people from, hey, games are actually in development and look weird sometimes. So I want to say that this is streaming GameCube games and Wii games because that would be awesome. But just the fact they're doing it. But that 2.2 gigabytes is throwing me off to where I kind of wonder if it's like an ARMS playtest where they had people download it and you just kind of you just played around with it for the game a bit, and they have some feature baked in. It could be streaming, like you mentioned, OJ. It could be streaming assets in as you're playing a game, and they're like testing servers and network overload and stuff. I really want to believe it's GameCube and Wii though, and it's probably not going to be because I
feel like it has to be something pretty simple.
Yeah, I mean, it's
that's too exciting to not announce in a direct or something.
Yeah, that's
true. They probably bought all the rights to all the old animated shows, and now they're gonna have their own Nintendo-specific Netflix built into NSO.
I would love.
Yeah, that would be cool as shit.
Yeah, that'd be pretty significant.
That'd be kind of cool. I mean, whatever it is, they want people to be wired in, and they want you in TV mode for it. Like, please make sure you're wired in. And in TV mode, because that's how you can't.
That has to mean it's streaming. Something streaming. If they say that, something streaming.
That's what I'm thinking. Something network, obviously something network related, where you can you can overload a system or something. They're trying to get a bunch of people on at once. So I don't know. Streaming seems like it makes sense. But
what if it just bricked everyone's console that has done anything not great? No, I'm kidding. I don't know. Yeah. We'll see.
I thought the idea of streaming a game while it's downloading and the 2.2 gigabytes is there just to reserve for, like, if there's so many GameCube games, for example, you download, you can pick them and download and stream and play the game while it's downloading to kind of eliminate that wait time of a game loading on your system. Like, that would have been kind of cool. It's a feature, and that's something I was thinking lining up is pulling data from the cloud as you're downloading, basically. But you said whatever it is, people are downloading it on Sunday, OJ, is when it opens, so
October 20th.
It's getting data mined either way. Somebody's gonna data mine that thing and find it.
Yeah. So then next week it'll start. People will actually start whatever, I think. But yeah, the 20th apparently. So yeah,
Did you get in, OJ?
I did.
Oh,
There you go. OJ he'll know. He'll know.
I
He won't be able to
say
tell
anything,
anybody
but I'll
to
know.
say anything.
Listen. I will. Somebody else will say something, then I will give my opinion on what they say.
There you go. There it is.
I'm not going to say anything about it. I mean, they can't. They can track me, so I ain't saying nothing. But
that's true.
But they
throw
can't
somebody
track everybody
else
else. They know me, so I'm not saying nothing.
Yeah,
but
just talk about what other people are talking about. Yeah, just be like, check this tweet out over here. Look
I
at
can
that.
talk about what somebody else is talking about. You know, I can do that just as long as I don't like record the footage and start uploading. But if somebody else is talking, I can report on that.
I want to recognize Derek Brown, who was wrote in for the mailbag, actually referencing this, saying it's an outside thought, but what if the NSO playtest is the stress test streaming Black Ops 6 on the Switch? The connection being Ubitus, who made a deal with Xbox to stream games and do cloud versions on Switch. Black Ops 6 coming to xCloud day one can't be a coincidence.
It can.
I don't know if it'd be Black Ops 6. It'd be funny if it did pop up and Microsoft was involved in some way with an Activision game, but I mean, technically, I remember when Stadia was testing their stuff way back when, like it was like projects called something else. They did tap Ubisoft and they streamed Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I remember that. That was kind of interesting. So it's not like it hasn't happened before, but that was them testing their own technology. I don't know if they would. I feel like they would just stream their own a Nintendo game or something that they already own. So like you stream Splatoon and see what happens. Okay, we had the Game Freak data breach. Man.
And on that, I am out. Thank you guys so much for having me. I appreciate it.
They're in the house now.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate y'all. You guys have a nice day. Shout out to all the Spawncast peeps. Check me out on Player Essence on YouTube. Bye, everyone.
We had the Game Freak breach, and I'm pausing because I do kind of feel bad for Ryan a bit on this one. So I'm not gonna get in
1,000 Pokemon, and it's got to be my favorite.
Oh no!
Look up on Ryan's shelf.
Look at him.
You see Ryan's shelf?
1,000 fucking Pokemon.
I do. I saw people talking about it. I was like, oh, there's no way that's the Pokemon they chose. So we had the Game Freak. They did respond to it, saying that they increased their security measures. All of it's for the most part correct. They did have a significant data breach. It seemed to be some kind of phishing that actually went through, and the person managed to get into Nintendo's dev portal, as well as pull all kinds of documents and developer notes. And unfortunately for Typhlosion stories, a lot of fan fiction that was internal. And they did say that about 2,600 employees were also affected by this. And this source has been dropping like bits of information every couple hours or something. It's been a very strange thing to see. And on top of that, some people have just mixed in fake information as well. So it's been very difficult to really separate like the stuff that's correct and not all at once, like on the fly. So people have been taking time going through it. But unfortunately, the stories did seem to legitimately come from Game Freak.
So I have a question for the stories. Do we know if that's in relation to like the new games coming out, or was this just hanging out in there?
It seems like it was just them kicking around ideas, and for some reason, I mean, they are called Game Freak technically, but like it is
sure, because it is weird. No, I saw them. I was like, oh wow, and I'm like, well, that's tame in comparison to what's probably like on Wattpad or something. But that's, it's weird to see that from a company. But like, it could be like, this is me just giving them the benefit of the doubt that they were trying to write like, Greek mythology type lore, and like that's all fucked up like real quick. And so maybe it's them trying to apply that to the Pokemon world.
Pokemon lore has always been horrifying though, like always.
Yeah, and so maybe those are some of the stories that like they just, that was just a little too weird. Not that some guy's just submitting porn every week and he's like, "Come on, guys, let's have it make it in a game real quick." So I wanna say that's why, because like, but I don't know. I don't work for Game Freak, and it's weird.
It's quite the freak off over there.
A lot of stuff has been leaking outside of that that had to do with like a lot of beta builds of these different games, a lot of sprites that were left on the cutting room floor, information for the lore of Pokemon, the anime, the plot details for like the next couple seasons were leaking out, and apparently the company behind the anime along with the Pokemon company was like striking down and copyright claiming and ripping stuff off the internet. It's been all over the place for some of this stuff. I will say though, for big Pokemon fans, people are really into it. There's a lot of information going around now. There's a lot of interesting details for the history of Pokemon. Ryan, I guess I should ask you just your overall thoughts as you were seeing this unfold. Not necessarily just about Typhlosion, but like everything else that was happening.
It's unfortunate when these things happen. I'm sure they were scrambling like crazy, but it is always a little consequence that's fascinating. I mean, Game Freak's a very secretive company, so we would have never, ever seen this stuff ever. Not willingly. So I mean, yeah, I was like looking through the sprites, and it's like fascinating seeing some of their methodology behind certain Evo lines, how some were crossed over, some showed up in later generations. So it's fascinating stuff to sift through, and even lore stuff, which is bizarre, quite frankly. But at the same time, a lot of it's out of context. You know, we don't know exactly how that story came to be, or many other processes that were going on behind the scenes. It's all very out of context material that's being like drip fed over time too. So it's like, it's fascinating stuff, but at the same time, I don't know. I don't really know what to think of it for some aspects of what came out. I'm just a little upset. Why my favorite Pokemon? Why?
You just gotta live like Sean. Sean's got his Hogan room. You've got your Typhlosion shrine. It's all fine.
I really do. Like I'm in this thing deep. Like I've got there's some over here too.
Brian, do you like Vaporeon also? Is that your second favorite Pokemon?
No.
Okay, just wondering.
No, I have a lot though, and now I'm deathly afraid of whatever leaks are going to come up next. I mean, Jesus.
Apparently, this person has been talking about leaking like Pokemon ZA, and again, this is all stuff that's I feel like kind of people aren't really sure what's correct and what's not coming out of this. And when they start talking about a PC build of Pokemon Legends ZA that they have played and can go out, I'm like, I don't know if that's actually correct, but I will tell you this: if they start doing stuff like that, and it like Nintendo's about to call Agent 47 or something, okay? Because it's going to get serious real quick. Already, I'm sure it's become serious because this was something that happened, this entire event, in August. So it was like 2 months ago that this breach technically happened, and it's you figure Nintendo would be all over this with like authorities and private investigators, and we've seen the links they go just to track people down. So I'm actually surprised this person's still able to leak stuff now. I feel like Nintendo would have found them at this point, but
that's pretty bold. Pretty bold for them to do that.
Yeah, with Nintendo and the way they operate. I mean, we heard stories of them staking out people's houses with private investigators and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, they end up in people's Discord quietly and don't say anything, and then all of a sudden they have people's messages for Discord to show people's houses. It's all things I've heard. Maybe. It's an interesting world that people aren't aware of with Nintendo, some of the stuff they do. But that's one of the reasons I'm so surprised, because they're very aggressive with some of the stuff. And this is a significant breach. You know, while we're talking about Pokemon real quick, Ryan, are you going to play that Pokemon TCG thing on phone?
I don't care for the Pokemon TCG.
Oh, okay. I was just curious. I was looking at it. I might play it.
I'm gonna play it.
Are you okay? Okay, good. It's a mobile phone thing, so it seems like something I'll pick up like a couple minutes a day and open packs and maybe check it out. I used to play the TCG game back in the day, and it was fun, like way back in the day. I'm like, it's on phones, it's easy. Maybe I'll check it out. I think it comes out on the 30th. Yeah, so like week and a half, 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm really excited. It's coming out at the end of the month. My coworker sent me the trailer for that. And yeah, I didn't realize that was an announcement. He's like, this is a Celia thing. Like, here you go. I'm looking forward to it. I love Pokemon.
Okay. I hope the first pack I open has Typhlosion. There you go, Ryan. I'll send you a
There you
picture
go.
of it.
They do send a lot of ads for the game to Pokemon Go. So every time I'm in Pokemon Go, they'll like bring a little blimp. They spawn it, you open it, and then it's got like some AR TCG cards that you can like mess around with and you get free items. Yeah.
See, you're
They're pushing it.
you're already in it with Pokemon Go anyway. Is there even room to have another phone game like that next to it?
That's the
for you?
well. That's the thing. I give this company my sleep data. I play Pokemon Sleep. They know where I am with Pokemon Go, so I'm playing that constantly. Obviously, I play the mainline games. I give them money for plushies. Like I have a hard cutoff. There's only so many things I can give this company. So the cards is a cutoff for me.
They've been
That's
tracking
for
you a lot,
Yu-Gi-Oh
Ryan.
What not willingly too. They made Pokemon Sleep. I'm like, oh yeah, perfect. Absolutely.
Please.
I'll let you know how long I sleep.
So if they start like make Pokemon food and they start tracking people's food, you're in on that too.
Dude, you got to understand how much it pains me when like cafes pop up in Japan and I can't just like go to them.
Oh, like the Pokemon ones.
Yeah, I got to sit
They're
here
really
and
cool.
watch them on YouTube like a chump and see the Pikachu burgers get eaten. And
Would you be the kind of person to get like the little fluffy cake shaped like Typhlosion and like keep it? Like you just never touch it.
Keep
put
it?
somewhere?
you know
Yeah,
the
just-
answer.
How do you?
You know
I know the
to that
answer.
question.
I
don't know
100%.
why are you asking?
I think it'll be mold covered. It'll just be like, I got it.
Dude, the TSA
Would you
be so
freeze
pissed.
it like a wedding cake? You know, people do that.
Maybe at
Maybe.
best resin pour after freezing.
I was
Resin pour.
Yeah, a resin pour.
Oh my god.
That might save it.
Maybe.
I'd at least put it on the gram.
Do it for the gram.
Let me go to our, so we have the Patreon mailbag, and then we also have comments that I pulled from last week's show. So we'll start with the mailbag, which again, people can submit these over on the Spawncast Patreon. You can check that out in the link down below. Leave a question, comment, concern, and we'll read it out here and talk about it. Let's see. We're going to start with actually someone we know pretty well. Varang said,
dang.
when the
Sean's
digital
not here to
age
scream his
comes,
name.
when the digital age comes, what are your guys' plans? Still play the latest games digital, mixture of both, or stick to only physical?
Nothing changes for me.
Yeah, he's already there with
I don't
PC.
give a shit.
I mean, when it's just digital, there's no option. I mean, at that point, I would just buy the game digitally, I guess. That's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
I feel like
There's another
streaming
way.
would be my cutoff. I feel if they were like, oh yeah, now you just have to stream everything. I'd be like, oh cool, I'm out. Good.
That's a better question. Yeah, if we want all streaming. But I mean, for digital, I see that occasionally in the comment section where if we talk about the digital physical market and like, physical is slowly going away right now, just based on the numbers that come up.
Like 55-45 or something for most people.
I think if a game looks good, you'll just find a way to get it. Like whatever, it's digital. Do we really think if 10 years, we'll say 10 or 15 years from now for Nintendo, they're all digital, right? On their, not this, the next system or something. The next big Zelda game comes out. Are people going to be like, man, there's no physical cartridge. I'm not going to experience that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. The next Pokemon game, big Pokemon game comes out. 2 copies, obviously. Got to be 2 different versions. But, they come out. And it's just digital. People are going to be like, well, that's it. I'm out of Pokemon. It's been 35 years. I went through the Typhlosion lore period and got through it, fortunately. And nope, this is it. This is where I draw the line. No. I think people still just buy the game. But I think these companies got to have some stuff figured out for their consumer protection. Or I think they have some lines drawn for them at this point. Because it's going to get weird. There's not a lot of control then for consumers if that's the case.
Yeah. I mean, I'd always buy physical if I have the option, but once it's taken away, I'm not going to not buy games that I want to protest,
I don't think it'll ever get taken away. Sorry, I think I talked over someone.
No, go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, so for that, as long as Japan appreciates physical hardware and in games and all that good stuff, it'll never stop existing. It's because Nintendo, for example, is Japan focused. Though obviously they market to the world, they tend to cater towards Japan. So I think it'll always be there. But like the alternative, let's just say that Japan decides, we hate physical games now, only digital. The alternative is just to not buy games, and I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Yeah.
So
I could see.
then we just buy digital.
If it's Japan just doing the physical, I could see a world where the companies realize, we can just distribute physical to Japan and cut costs, and then everyone else gets digital. Have fun with that.
That would fucking suck.
But no, okay, there's no there would be localization regardless. So it would just be, I guess, harder to get, if anything. But like the internet exists. The internet still exists. People will import the games,
All those times I used to buy all the old DBZ VHS tapes off of friggin' Japanese sites. It's great.
What were you saying, Ryan, the big physical collector over there?
No, I mean, everyone made a good point, which is that I unsurprisingly like buying physical games, but like I'm not going to quit my lifetime hobby whenever that time does come. So I don't know. It's always an interesting comment to see people say like, nope, it's over, I'm out. When it's digital only, it's like, well, I'm not going to just stop playing video games because of that. Because of the way we access games. I mean, I'm all for consumer rights and the viability of physical, but in 10, 20, 30 years, whoever knows how long it will take, I'm still going to buy and play games. You just have to do it kicking and screaming for me. That's all.
I mean, there'll always be physical games to buy because one way or the other, you'll go back to previous generations and fill out a collection or something.
Sure, but in terms of new releases, people say like, "Oh, well, I'm not going to buy any more new games." It's like, well, like you guys were saying, like the next mainline Zelda, you're really not going to buy and play that. I don't know. I don't buy it.
Medallion asks, would you consider doing a special live stream for major events in gaming, like say the Switch 2 unveil, even if you don't get as many people to participate once in a while to keep some fans around who are still not settled with the pre-recorded style? I thought about that, Medallion. I think I'm going to tell you now for the Switch 2 reveal, I feel like everyone's just going to be streaming anyway. Like I feel like Josie will probably be streaming. OJ will be streaming. Pretty much everyone's just gonna be, or if like there's the next big PlayStation, I don't know. Ryan usually just record your reaction to it as it's happening and post it. So one way or the other, people are gonna be pretty, I think, taken up with these different. Like I'll probably just honestly just stream the Switch 2 event too, because that is like the once in a generation thing for them. Like if Microsoft does a stream for the next system in the next couple of years, I'll probably stream that. But that's I think that's gonna be a big event either way, and everyone will be streaming anyway. So. But I mean, I thought about like the video game awards, maybe, although the thing with some of these events, it's like, hey, it's gonna be 3 hours. And I gotta be real. Sometimes it's like, 80 minutes of just fluff. So it gets kind of tiring. Future Millionaire says, with the amount of video game releases on multiple platforms, what's your rule on dropping games if they just aren't clicking with you? And what's the last game you dropped or have no intention on completing? They say their last one was Death Stranding Definitive Edition on my PS5.
Mine was Starfield.
Really? Oh, wow. You dropped Starfield. Okay.
Yeah, I heard people say like the whole sequence of where the story, like what part of the story I was in, and it was like right before the end, and I was just like, nah, I don't care. And I just uninstalled it.
That's wild.
I'm trying to think of my last game was I really just dropped and have no, because I always have intentions to go back.
It's always when I start having the thoughts of, I could be like cleaning my car right now. Like when you have that thought while you're playing the game, you're like, why am I playing this game? And then you just have to stop.
I feel like for me, unfortunately, it's Street Fighter 6, only because I'm just not a big fighting game guy, but I got it just to see if it would be, if it was something that click with me, and it didn't. And then I was like, that's that.
Yeah, but for that, what's the drop for you? Like, did you beat the story mode? I'm guessing because you're more of a.
No, I was playing through the story mode, and I was like,
you just out. Yeah, no,
I'm just not a fighting game person. I admit it fully. So I give it a shot though. I spent some time. I spent 7 or 8 hours in it.
It's no Windjammers.
And that's the closest for me for like a fighting game, like a Windjammer or something. That's kind of one-on-one style.
So good.
But yeah, I fully admit I'm not a fighting game person. Although I did play all the way through Mortal Kombat, but I know people would consider that big, fighting game. I don't know. It still seems
it's almost designed to be a single player game anymore. Like it's so weird to play. You're like, I don't know if this is a fighting game.
arcadey style stuff. Even Sparking Zero is just an arena style game. I don't know. I don't even look at that. Like the serious fighting games, the Street
Hit
Fighters,
buttons,
the Tekken,
flashing
Guilty
lights.
Gears. It's
The
like
technical ones,
it's
yeah.
not really for me. Not really for me. But that's the one I could think of that I dropped.
I also dropped Starfield, and I don't think I'll ever go back to that game.
Oh man,
So boring.
It is.
You know what you guys need to do? You need to look up the ending. Okay.
No, I know
And
the
just
ending. I know it, and it's not that interesting to me.
see what the new game plus is.
I almost dropped it. Okay, so the whole thing about it being a sandbox game, you make decisions and stuff. The first decision I made was to lie to that guy about what I saw, and I was like, "This could be cool. I could go into the universe and not have to go through that." And he was like, "I know you're bullshitting me. Here's the main quest line." I was like, "Fuck this game! Like, what's happening?"
The new game plus is pretty cool for it. Unfortunately, the DLC has not been very good so far. So, yeah, unfortunate. I don't know, Ryan. Did you drop a game?
I usually see a lot of my stuff through. I can't really think of anything in recent.
You played through
recent years.
Haze, so I believe you.
Listen, that was for
A
content.
wild ride.
That was for content.
I feel that for playing things through, because I like when I was a kid, I like had this rule where if I got a game, I had to beat it, because games were scarce, so it's like you have to go through it, you have to force yourself, even if you're not having fun. I realized I interrupted you. Did you have any games that you didn't finish?
No, I can't think of any. Like I usually do see things through.
He's into
Yeah.
self-torture.
I have two most recently, and it's also to keep in mind that like Metaphor came out, Sparkling Zero's out. I need to finish Zelda, so I already have a backlog that's like already building. But the new Mana game, I ended up dropping. I was really excited for it because like I like the Mana series. Like I love Sword of Mana. In fact, that was on Game Boy Advance. I love that game. Anyways,
I dropped that one too, Josie. Or
I
I
dropped
dropped
it after
Celia
the demo.
too.
Yeah, I have some side commentary for you about that game. So yeah, I dropped that, and then one I dropped was As Dusk Falls. Very good game. I just fucked up at the end, and I was like, no, I kept everyone alive. Anyways, so yeah, I dropped it because I was angry, not because the game was bad.
That doesn't count.
But yeah, no, I'm really mad about that still. It's been like a month and a half, and I'm still angry.
Right at the end too.
I know it hurts so bad. Okay, sorry, continue, guys.
This is what from Amaterasu says, what are some games you guys have been excited to play or share with your kids or family? Games excited to play with. Well, I guess for me right now, it's been Astrobot.
I was going to say, John, that's you and Astrobot, right?
They restarted Astro's Playroom. They're doing that again now because they beat Astrobot. But they don't know that the speed run level just came out. Which I got my time down to 33 seconds on that now. Somebody has 28 seconds on it. But I got both bots. So they showed one of them. One of them was the Helldivers 2 bot. So
don't tell me the other one.
Nope, I'm not telling the other one.
Ruin
You already know
this,
about
man.
Helldivers
Do
2.
it.
That's not a spoiler. Technically, you know about the other one. Yes, Typhlosion. Yeah. Technically, you know about the other one too, though, Ryan. But I won't spoil it for you. You'll see it when it happens, when it pops up. So, are you waiting for all of them to come out, by the way, for you to do it?
Yeah, if they're doing the weekly thing, I'll just wait for all of them. So
okay. See, the thing I like about this though is when I do the speed run, I notice online other people are doing it, so I see everyone's times happen. Like people are posting their times and stuff, and it's actually kind of fun. It's way better than what I've been seeing on Twitter recently. So the people are playing the game. It's crazy.
They're playing video games.
That's what I said.
Hot takes.
I know, right? They're not looking up the staff or anything. It's crazy. Yes, that's my big one is that, and the Sackboy actually, Big Adventure on the PS4.
Oh, Sackboy's good.
Another popular one right now. What's the other one? You know what we're doing now though is watching Dragon Ball Z.
Not playing it, just watching it.
Dragon Ball Z or Kai?
They wanted to watch
going
it. I
straight
was playing
into
Sparking
Super.
Zero, and I got Kai. It's a bit more censored. So yeah. One's 7, the other one's 5.
How far are they in the series?
We got Goku's at King Kai's planet right now.
Nice.
It's pretty early.
So yeah, but the thing about Kai is it's like the entirety of Dragon Ball
It's
Z.
so fast. The Ginyu fight's like 3
episodes.
episodes. The whole Ginyu fight's like 3 episodes. It's over.
Yeah, it's very quick. Very quick. So
I think they killed Boldo in like 2 minutes. Like, it's wild.
They cut a lot of stuff out. So, which I'm fine with. I'm perfectly fine with it. So that's kind of been the move recently. Is that? Let's see. Comments from last week. I had to dig a little bit for these, but I picked some out. This was, Sean's not here. S1 said, if you're being interrogated by the cops, don't answer anything at all. Just keep saying lawyer.
Yeah, correct. Sean's advice sucked, but it was fine.
Sean said straightforward, quick answers, concise answers.
No, I was so confused where that was going.
What?
For the
That's the information that comes from a guy who worked at a Sonic. Like, just
this is from William, who says, I wish they didn't change the camera angle in the combat in Silent Hill 2 remake. I just get the feeling they were trying to make it like RE4. I'm glad people are playing it and enjoying it, but I think the OG still remains the best experience. I kind of have to disagree on that, though. I feel like I'm enjoying this more.
No, it's just a difference of feel. I mean, the behind the back thing is definitely more of like a modern, like more modern players like it, just because it's so weird turning characters from fixed camera perspective. But that's kind of the point of it. Like, you're supposed to feel weird in fixed camera, but it is what it is. Play Songs of Horror because it's still fixed. And I think there's a new one that just came out too that's also fixed camera, which is pretty good.
Oh, what is that? What's that game called? Yeah, that just went to the
Hollow
Switch.
Body.
I saw even there's one that just went to the Switch too. It looks like a PS1 kind of game.
No, it's Hollow Body, right? Because that one looks
Crow County. You're talking about Crow County.
That it is, yeah. It's been on the other platforms. I saw it like they just got it to the Switch recently, and people seem pretty happy with that. I haven't checked it out or anything, but it looked like the visuals were kind of like PS1 style, so kind of cool. Cool. Let's see. This one was from Sir Mel. Says, why not just stick to one game and play it? 80 hours shouldn't be horrible if you're playing one game and enjoying yourself. It is funny because we had over on Click R3 this past week, we had Nanogenics on for like Dragon Ball talk and everything. But we did talk about Metaphor actually, Celia, because that came out that was 80 hours or something long, right? And he did say that, hey, when I see a playtime like that, it kind of puts me off of it a bit. It kind of like, I don't know if I want to start that up right now because it's 80 hours long. And
it's like ADHD mentality, though.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like the longer play length can be kind of like a little intimidating for people, I think, at times.
Let me see. Hell Let Loose, 129 hours. I can just go down like how many games you want to see that I have that over 100 hours.
Yeah, but those are multiplayer, right?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, arguably, I've played Warframe single player, and that's over 1,000 hours.
I'm thinking like single player style games, right? Where it's like it's 80 hours.
Like
100 hours long or something.
It just depends what you're interested in. Because I've had someone say, oh, Metaphor, that's a commitment. But they fucking play Baldur's Gate. And I'm like, okay, Mr. like 200 hours, like whatever. So it's kind of one of those things. It's like whatever excites you, it's not a long time if you're into it.
Yeah, Baldur's Gate, 134 hours.
Yeah, like Jesus Christ. Like that's so long. Like to me, that's a long time. And I say that as I have like 120 and I've done that twice for Persona 5. So like, I don't know. It's just depends.
Between like Final Fantasy 16 and 5 or go ahead, Ryan.
No, you're right. If you're committed to it, the time is like a good thing to you. Like, oh yeah. Awesome. Like, I can't wait to spend 80 hours with this game.
And also, like, it just depends the game because, like, for Pokemon, I'll spend countless hours. Like, you can get through the main story pretty quickly, but like, I'll just keep on playing because I love Pokemon. So it just depends. Whatever.
Yep.
Yeah. I know sometimes I do play one of those games that takes forever to beat. Like I said, 7 Rebirth. That's I think 80 some odd hours in it right now. And I didn't want to go from that to another 80-hour game. It was kind of like, let me see if I can find something a little shorter and just feels way different than this to play next.
Yeah. Then, there's a huge indie market. Like for a while, I started playing like strictly like 1 to 2 hour games, and it's really refreshing. Like I beat through Toem. I beat Castaway, Duck Detective. Like there's so many fun ones like that you can do, and it's just a really short, fun adventure. And then you can play your 120 hours.
I do tend to gravitate towards like weekend games, like things I can do in a weekend typically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we need to do, Ryan. We got to find the short PlayStation 3 game section that has a platinum trophy.
Like I said, I know them, and there's not many, so it's a short. It's a short.
I don't know.
list.
Do I want to? I don't know if I want to loophole this thing for the PS3 selection. I don't know. Even while we were sitting here, I was looking at some of the trophy lists as we're hanging out here on the podcast. And like, nope, that one has online. That one has online.
I'm genuinely running out of like PS3 games when I do 30 platinums.
You guys aren't aware, we're doing for Click R3, we're going to make an account just for Click R3. I might just call it Click R3 Platinum, by the way, Ryan, the account. And
Click R3 Platinum.
We're going to have a section where we go through different games and get the platinum trophy and talk about, like as a retro game, but also talk about the probably some of the outdated, terrible trophy lists that we go through. But now we let the community vote on what system that we would start on. And the majority voted for PS3. So I have to figure out a PS3 game that doesn't have its server shut down. There's not multiplayer trophies.
Apparently,
that I can get a
Telltale
platinum on.
games on the PlayStation 3, you just have to beat them and you get a platinum.
See, I want to do something weird too. I didn't like. I looked up 3D Game Heroes, and that platinum looks annoying. Yeah, Ryan's like, no, don't do that.
It's that whole generation is multiple playthroughs, hardest setting, online trophies. They got substantially easier going into PS4. So you're boned. You picked PS3.
Cars,
I thought about
Race-O-Rama.
Infamous even. First Infamous. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, like, some of the more modest, like actual modest platinums on PS3 are typically like 10 to 12 hours. Like, the last one I did for 30 platinums was Alone in the Dark, and that was like 15 hours.
Okay, that's not bad.
I also played that through Plus streaming, which was a nightmare. So
Apparently, Godfather 2 is not a bad one.
yeah.
Okay, we're figuring it out. Okay, we're gonna come up with one though.
There's
we don't have to worry about
options.
that. And I think that's everything. I do want to do one final announcement here. Also, make sure you check everyone out. Let me go around real quick. We got Josie, Ryan, Celia, and Evan. So, okay. Well, there goes.
It
Too hot.
lasted a while.
It was so close too. I'm like in overtime right now. So it was so close. But check everyone out. I have them linked down below. Evan actually has put out a recent video going over the Warhammer stuff. Ryan did his Let's Talk PlayStation recently. Celia's on Twitter
Game
talking
of
about Metaphor or something.
I'm there.
Doing metaphor.
Josie's been playing Mario Party, so go by and say
overheating
hi.
cameras.
Hey.
The Spawncast. That camera's been putting in work today. I gotta say, you were streaming for a while. You're doing, so it's been holding up. The final announcement though, we will be doing our Game of the Year bracket again this year. All right, last year, the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom won. It was that versus Baldur's Gate. Ended up taking the crown. But this year we'll be doing it. And instead of trying to do streams or videos every time the bracket goes to the next level, we're just going to talk about it here for like 10 or 15 minutes at a time, just based on what's happening with it. And you know what? I'm looking up and down the list of games that would be in the bracket. And I actually think it'd be pretty interesting. Like there's a lot of different kind of games right now. The only issue I'm having right currently is Indiana Jones comes out in like the first week of December. And that's tough. I feel like I want to wait for that to come out because I think that would make it into the bracket, but it's that would kind of push things out a bit further. So that's the only thing. But yeah, we're gonna do that again. I think it'll be fun. So it was a good time last year. So, but I think that's everything though we have here today. Thanks everyone for joining us for Spawncast episode 387. Again, check everyone out. I have them linked down below in the description, and we'll be back next week to do it all over again. And we'll see you guys then.